rate. So those moves led to significant hike in interest rates, and you all know the impact. Once the interest rate is high, it impacts on the lending rate, it impacts on mortgage rates, reduces the ability of people to take mortgages, and also businesses. We saw even within the fintech space, VCs raising funds was also a major challenge because there were other interesting alternatives to put those funds. You would see that rather than investing in some of the fintechs that maybe carry a bit of risk, they also try to just put the funds in fixed income. So I would summarize that within the global space. I don't know if there's any follow-on question on that.
No, it's more like an introduction before we get to the Nigerian, the core Nigerian, where should I put my money in? So the global space, like I said, we had the inflation, and inflation has been moderated from the high digits now to the lower digits for the global side. What's your take, sir, on the budget, the 2024 Nigerian budget? We've seen a record budget in terms of the nameplate. The nameplate number is record. We've seen a budget that's going to spend a lot of money, relying not just on crude oil. That's one thing I found out, not just on crude oil, but on quote-unquote independent sources of revenues for the government. So the government seems to have abandoned that they are not going to get money from crude oil. It's about 1.7 million barrels a day target, way below what we're doing. Just overall, sir, what's your take on the budget? And as an investor, as someone who's investing in Nigeria, what should I be looking at? What am I happy about? What should I be sad about?
Okay, thanks. And I think I would like to, if I'm going to say it in one word, I think it's overly the government is overly optimistic.
Wow.
Around this budget, and we'd say at least based on the last passage, the budget passed of about 28.8 trillion naira, and you're looking at a revenue level of about 18 trillion naira. So you would see that there's a major gap. And when you also drill down to the revenue, I'm happy that you highlighted that independent sources. It's really, when you look at trends, looking at the past, the independent sources have not really yielded any meaningful impact, or government have not been able to meet up looking at those independent sources. So it's going to be, when you look at, it's really going to be surprising if they are able to achieve about 50% of what, about the 6 trillion or 7 trillion that they are projecting. So that means that the actual gap would even be high. You want to look at oil production. They are projecting oil production about 1.78 trillion. Yes, it's moved from the 1.2 million barrels per day levels to almost about 1.35 levels, but that there's still a major gap. So it means that is another shortfall, revenue shortfall. And for the non-oil businesses, so when we look at taxes, except maybe continue to enforce compliance, companies are not expanding, companies are actually shutting down. And if companies are struggling, it means that they would even, if they are making a loss, you don't expect them, they will pay more, just taxes, maybe the minimum tax. They just pay the minimum taxes. So it's really going to, I feel it's really a third order, except it just calls that there needs to be policies to partner with private investors. Relying on this revenue to deliver growth would be a tall order. There's a need to create that environment for the private sector to complement. So, and that is really very key. If that is not done, because when you begin to look at it at the end of the day, or the end of when you look at the performance, the capital expenditure, which is the little that we benefit from, or the most populace benefit from, always be the one at the receiving end. But we are looking at, when we look at opportunities, because not to just focus on the challenges, I believe that within the oil sector, if we see if there can be the right policy, there's the health insurance that can help boost our health sector. So can the private sector, as I know people are looking at that, taking that initiative, but maybe be more intentional to see how we can drive the health sector using insurance, micro insurance, that people, even the market women, understand the advantage of signing up to health insurance. So if we're able to mobilize that much of capital, then we'll be able to develop the health sector, provide the right equipment, and as a result, that sector will begin to expand. So that I see that for those that maybe are potential investors, that's an opportunity to fine-tune and see how government can partner with them. Infrastructure is also, we should not expect that government will be able to deliver much infrastructure with this budget. So there's the infraco. We need to know, is it taking off this year? What's government doing about it? Or if there are certain roads that can be concession. And I used to say it, if even the motorists or commuters would prefer to pay a premium if they know it will take them less hours to commute, less hours on the road. So they should also, that's also an opportunity that they can partner with private sector. There's a feeding program that I know government will spend money on. Can Nigerians also see how they identify some of those products? We're expecting government can ensure that most of the inputs are homegrown. This can create higher multiplier effects. The person supplying the egg, the person supplying the input, rice, they should, if they can ensure that, so even if it's 1 trillion they are going to, or let's say it's 500 billion they are spending on it, the economy that can generate, or let me even be conservative, even if it's 200 billion, the economy it can generate, the person growing the rice, the person growing the beans, the plantain, if they can build that value chain, the multiplier impact that it would generate will be higher, would be minimum of times 2 or times 3 within that economy. If they ensure that we are not now importing what we are trying to also give out to this pupil of the feeding program. The real estate is also an area where they are big on housing, but we all know because of the challenges within the funding space, can there be more structure that will enable people to take up mortgages at a very affordable rate and partner with government? If government is willing to maybe put in equity, and there's a structure that they can build low-cost housing with their partner with developer, low-cost housing and mortgages that average Nigerian can begin to do rent to home. So that is also an area for those that looking at the real estate space. Renewable, they've also been hammering on the CNG, also fuel, the solar, the wind system will also be an area. Government can't do all this, but what they need is to provide that right policy, that right backing. And, like if you are going to import some of these equipment, if they are giving you maybe a tax holiday, also trying to support giving you loan at a lower level. And also ensuring that the process of clearing some of these items in the port, you don't have to spend 2 months when you have imported some of the things that are very key and important to your business, staying that at the port for that level before you clear it. So that is also an area that can also generate a lot of income for Nigerians, for business owners. And I would say technology, that's IT. We've seen it done in the past. That's the last one, so that I don't take more time on this. We've seen it done in the past that we've seen Nigerians provide ideas on how state government can earn revenue, and you share from that revenue. So you provide a platform for them. So you identify, for instance, currently in Lagos, if you drive around some areas, if the camera is able to track you down if your licenses have expired, some people are coming to that initiative. You get text message directly, and you need to pay before you can even renew your license. So it's some people that have come up with those ideas. So I feel with strong young Nigerians can come together. What are the ideas that you can help all governments would be willing to listen to you if they know there's a revenue that can be generated, and they will be willing to split the revenue with you. I think I would just leave it at that.
Okay, Mr. Ayo. So I think the next question was going to be, where can I invest? But let me just dovetail and just follow up with you on this. Folks that are listening to you say IT, renewables, agriculture, and food. Are there specific investment options or outlets where if I want to invest in school feeding program, whereby a vendor is going to supply eggs, do you have specific examples where you can say invest in this company because they are exposed to that? They are going to take advantage of the government's spending on school feeding program. Do you have maybe one or two specific examples for us, if you're allowed to do that, to say, I want to do renewables, so I'm going to invest in this company to take advantage of the government's spending on renewables? Is there any example in Nigeria like that for folks listening?
If I'm going to maybe just take a bit of is to look at one or two the agri sector. So you look at the likes of Fresco and Okomu, that they are they are into oil palm, rubber, but because of the inward-looking strategy of the government, they may also benefit. But at least for those also listening, ideas, they can also, to help, suggest if they have an idea of companies that are already repositioned to tie into some of these strategies. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Good one. I have one or two guys here that I'm going to call on also. But let's go into it, sir. So, just to assume I'm a 30-year-old Nigerian and I have 1 million naira disposable cash in a bank, I would like to invest in Nigeria for, say, the next 2 to 5 years. I don't need liquidity right now, and I would like to invest. Where should I put that money? How should I approach this? This is just very, very practically that there are folks listening. What should they do? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Okay, so what I've done, I've also put it in Naira terms. So I would say that yes, while risk appetite may vary, but at 30 years, you should be able to, your risk appetite should be a bit high because you have longer period. So I would say that you put 40%, so which is 400,000 naira in fixed income investment in naira, fixed income naira investment, which will range between, you have the FGN savings fund that is open every month. You can sign up through your stockbroker. The yield you get is between sometimes between 10 and 12%, depending on the rates in the market. You can also identify savings platform that gives high yield. It's good to do your due diligence. Those that have with reputable backing, you invest with them for high yield. So you put that's fixed income, or you buy treasury bills. Some you can buy treasury bills if you don't take any risks. Some can give you as low as 100,000 naira to buy treasury bills. So you have that fixed income 40%. That may also serve like your emergency fund at times if you have to go back to it. So that's step. Then you look at 20% fixed income in dollars. And technology has helped. There are a lot of reputable platforms now that you don't even need a DOM account to have investment in dollars. You pay in naira, you swap. I recall then there's one of the platforms I invested when dollar was around 360 naira. And I just paid in, I paid in 1 million, converted it to dollars, and invested in a dollar mutual fund. And after 3 years, I think I exceeded at 745 when I needed to do something. And so you don't need to you also convert it at the current rate. So you don't need to go through the headache of having a DOM account to have dollar investment. So you can save 20% of that. If it's a monthly thing you want to be doing it to achieve this 1 million, as you get your 50K, your 20K, just convert it to dollars and you are building your dollar portfolio. So you have 20% there, because we all know that, yes, while we feel that we're trying to stabilize the naira, we need to produce and export beyond oil for us to stabilize this naira. So you need to continue to have that dollar investment. 20% in Nigerian equities, we've seen for those that took the risks last year, they are the one benefiting, or they benefited significantly from the market. Market closed almost at 45%, and even this year alone, last week, investors gained about 2.8 trillion naira. So you can position in stocks. We are looking at 5 years. Because of you will be doing dollar cost averaging, so you are not bothered now, even if you come in, because yes, we expect that at a point in time there should be a bit of correction. But if what you are doing is you are buying monthly, and that even does not affect you significantly. When market is down, you intensify, you increase the amount you are buying, and when it's high, you buy at a normal level. So 20%, that's about 200,000 naira in Nigerian stocks. Then foreign stocks, you can put about 10% in foreign stocks. There are also Nigerian platforms that you can invest. That would also help. So by the time you look at it, you have 30% of your investment in dollars. So I think that's good. Then you can also look at gold ETF. You look at the performance of gold, it's a good alternative investment. So I'm looking at 5%, which is the alternative. You are putting 5% in gold ETF. You can also buy that on most of the Nigerian platforms that gives you access to foreign stocks. That's, you put like 50,000 there. And you can also put 5% in cryptocurrency, which is, but you buy, if you don't want to take a lot of risks, just buy the flagship cryptocurrency, the likes of the Bitcoin, Ethereum, that you know very well. That will reduce your volatility, and you'll see I'm putting just 5%. We are looking at 5 years based on the investment horizon. So believe that with some of the regulations within the crypto, they're trying to put within the crypto space, ETFs, they're trying to build ETFs on cryptocurrency. We're also seeing what CBN has also done to allow Nigerians now to begin to also play within the cryptocurrency space. That adoption, it's for young people. You can also have that in your portfolio. So when you have that, that's going to be like a balanced portfolio, and you would see that within the next 5 years, this portfolio will beat inflation. I'm even talking about Nigerian inflation, because when you also, if you do a test, a backward test of how the performances have been done, you would see that while past performance may not be a guarantee of future performance, but you are sure. I spoke about foreign equities. The market has been a bit down. And when you look at markets, as we expect yields within the fixed income space in the US to come down, it will also impact positively on the equities market. So if you are able to structure around that, so if I'm going to just recap, 40% in fixed income naira, 20% in fixed income dollar, or let me put it in naira terms, 400,000 naira in fixed income naira, 200,000 naira in fixed income dollar, 200,000 naira in Nigerian equities, 100,000 naira in foreign equities, 50,000 naira in gold ETF, and 50,000 naira in cryptocurrency.
Wow.
So without that 1 million, you should be able to build a very defensive and balanced portfolio.
Wow. Okay, so let me just, again, I'm going to tweet this out. I want to make sure I get it correct. 40% Nigerian fixed income, yes. 20% foreign bonds. So it can be in Nigeria, but it's dollar. You're going to get the returns back in dollar. 20% dollar bond.
Yes.
20% Nigerian stocks.
Yes.
10% foreign stocks. 5% gold. And of course, 5% crypto. Yes. And I see one crypto guy here clapping, but yeah, 5% crypto. All right, so this is a sample portfolio for 5 years. Again, because it's not expecting liquidity per se, or does it matter if it was expecting liquidity?
Yes, so I think it balances out, because most of the Nigerian stocks, most of them will be paying return. So if you need the cash flow, you'll still be getting a bit of return on this portfolio. But waiting it out for 5 years, you would see the portfolio grow significantly within that 5 years.
Excellent. And of course, I heard you say it beats inflation. What element in this portfolio is beating inflation? Just for our folks to understand
the
here.
first one is within the next 5 years, your investment in fixed income dollar should beat inflation. Even in Nigerian stocks, on a dividend yield perspective plus capital gain, should beat inflation. If you get the right, you look at the right foreign stocks, you should also be able to get an investment that beats inflation. And cryptocurrency, yes, is volatile, but we are looking at 5 years. It should also beat inflation.
Okay, so let's now go into them. Should we say one by one, right? If I'm doing 40% fixed income, where? Like, I heard you say bonds. Is it FGN bonds? Is it corporate bonds? What is your preferred Nigerian fixed income? Should I buy private market bonds, secondary market bonds, treasury bills under 90 days? What is your advisable for this, for the fixed income part? That's the bulk, the 40%.
Okay, so I would suggest like three. So you can have the FGN savings bond, because we're talking about 400,000 naira now, so there's also threshold. You may not be able to purchase FGN bonds, but you can also invest in naira high yield savings accounts. There are high yield savings account that will also give you as return that can match what you are getting in your bonds. So if you have a mix of the high yield savings account plus your FGN savings fund and maybe 100,000 naira in treasury bills, that should be able to balance that. Commercial paper minimum is 5 million. So I think with those three, you still be fine.
So can I put you on the spot? Can you name them? If you can, that's fine. But can you name, for instance, when you say savings bonds, it's FGN savings bond that can be bought from any registered bank or stockbroker. When you say high yielding paper, do you have anyone in your mind that you want to recommend? I mean, you are feel free to put in yours in there, because folks are listening and taking notes just for them to know what to do. Again, you always say DM me and all that. So which one do you specific now, sir?
Okay, yeah. So I think I would suggest one, you can get it through Afro Invest. You can also get it through Stanbic. Get through, I think FCMB is the current stock. CSL is the current stockbroker. So I think any of those, there are a lot of stockbroking firms that you can get it, but because I work for Afro Invest and I will be a bit biased. And for most people that have also reached out, I don't think any of them have regretted investing through FGN savings bond through Afro Invest.
So go ahead.
We're talking about the Naira, where you can get high yield savings Naira. So you have the Optimus by Afro Invest, which is fully owned by Afro Invest too. You can invest through it. Those that you also want to invest, there's Cowrywise, there's Piggy Vest. You can also invest through them. Okay.
That's a lot of options for us here, and of course the space is recorded here on Twitter. I'm going to post it on the podcast link. It's going to be on YouTube, so you can always go back and rewind the tape and listen again to what Mr. Ayo says. So Mr. Ayo, for Nigerian fixed income, you said FGN savings bonds, you said high yield Nigerian savings bonds. There was a third one, sir.
No, I said treasury bills.
Treasury bills.
And also, minimum to buy treasury bills through Afro Invest securities is 100,000 naira. It varies across firms, but looking at the amount of funds we are talking about, that may be the right plug. And if you accept, maybe you have an existing broker that can also fit into that minimum level for you.
Gotcha. All right, so we've gotten the 40% Nigerian fixed income part of it. For the bonds now, the 20% foreign bonds, again, same question. Who do you recommend, or who do you think we can go to? I know a long time ago, I brought you here, so I've spoken about the dollar bonds. You guys, i.e. Optimus, I won't make you speak on that again. I also brought in FCMB. They had a dollar bond. We brought them in here to also speak. So who again would you recommend for us to go? Or what vendor can we go to get this exposure to the dollar fixed income market?
Yeah, so beyond the Optimus by AfriVest, I think Stanbic also has dollar mutual fund. They also have dollar mutual fund, which I'm looking at those. I think AXA Mansa, those also have online platform, because in this day of technology, it's good to be able to see as you are buying. You can track your investment. You don't have to be calling to know what you have. So if you are going to choose, look for those that have the online platform. So I think PiggyVest also has a dollar investment.
Oh, interesting.
Carry-wise investment.
Okay.
That you also do. So those are options that you can also look at.
Okay. All right. So we've gotten there. So lots of options there. We've got the PiggyVest guys online. We've got the legacy banks, IBTC, Optimus online again. And Mr. Ayo has suggested that you always have a vendor that you can go online and see what your investments are doing, not just to buy, but to track what you're doing. Now, sir, what about the Nigerian stocks? We know probably who to go to, right? Nigerian stockbrokers are registered. I always tell people, go to anyone. It's more of customer service. As long as you go to a registered, regulated Nigerian stockbroker, it's more or less who gives you the best customer service, right? But again, sir, if you could tell us which ones you recommend, of course, plug in yours. And then we want to get specific on this 20% Nigerian stocks. Where are we buying ETFs in Nigeria? Are we buying individual stocks for 5 years? Which ones are you liking, sir?
Okay, thanks. So regarding the recommended or suggested, put it that way.
Suggested.
Yeah. So beyond AfriInvest Securities Limited, you have likes of Meristem Securities, Codros Securities. So you have Stanbic stockbrokers. So there are several stockbrokers that you can also go through. But I like what you use. Customer service is key. A robust online platform where you can buy and sell on your own. So in these days, you don't have to be calling your stockbroker. Technology has helped, and you can also have access to your fund. And beyond that, access to information research. They have a strong research that at least provide you with basic information that will help you make decisions.
Interesting, yeah.
And if you don't have the time to go into those details, you can buy the equity mutual fund. You know, like last year, when you look at, I think it was even Carry-wise that posted, looking at it, AfriInvest equity fund, I think led with about almost 60%. We have the equity Stanbic fund, Meristem equity fund. They are all, so those are professionally managed and also reduces your risk. They manage as we're expecting a market correction. They already know the right strategy to use to reduce if there's going to be any major correction. But if you don't understand the market and you are invested directly into the market, you may not know the right time to exit. You may not know the right thing to do, and you also tracking your dividend. So if you know you don't have that much time to be tracking, you just buy into a mutual fund. And those mutual funds, which they are managed and they are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Perfect. So, what the summary again? I'm hearing you say, if you don't know what to do, try to go through mutual funds. Mutual funds in Nigeria are what Americans call, or Nigerians call them unit trusts. Americans call them mutual funds. And so, if you don't really know what you're doing, go to the professionals, because the unit trust mutual funds are managed by professionals. They will take your funds, they can invest it, they know what to look out for, they know how to hedge and protect. That's your suggestion, sir. Do you want to delve into individual stocks, or should we just leave it as go to the?
Yeah, so I can mention, like we always put that caveat that it's not a financial advice, and because investments sometimes will determine based on your investment objective and your risk appetite. You look at the banking stocks will still take the lead. Yes, for some maybe currently at the overbought region, but when you also look at the expected dividend, if you are buying over a long period, it's also, you look at Zenith Bank, Access, and GT, you want to have that. MTN has not rallied as much as others, but it's going to be one of the defensive stocks that people should begin to rotate if correction is happening. And its Seplat is also a stock that may also be defensive, that may not suffer as much diminution or decline if market corrects itself. You also want to have a bit of exposure to the agri space, either Presco or Komu oil. Within the cement space, you can either look at Boa Cement or Dangote Cement, with government very bullish on construction. And if they implement that policy, or implement the policy of using more cement to construct road rather than the bitumen, that's going to be a major plus. And you also want to look at, the finance sector. Consumer goods will be a bit shaky, but when you see that for most of them have moderated, we know Nestle negative shareholders funds for now, but they will always come out of the woods. They've been in Nigeria for long, so it's when people should learn, or investors should learn to buy when you see that there's crisis, and you can see that those companies will come out of crisis. It is not when everything is fine. But what we're currently seeing now in the equities market is a lot of people just coming in now, and it's when market is down is when you're supposed to be bullish about the market. Yeah.
So I like that. Like I always say, if you go to a store, the store or the mall would advertise that this dress is on sale, and people rush to buy the dress that it's on sale. But in the stock market, when the market is on sale, people run away because they want the market to be always go up in price. So it's a good call you're making, that if you find a good stock or a good company, for instance, Nestle, it's a battered gem. If the fundamentals make sense, it could be that you're buying that stock at a lower price relative to its valuation. So I like that. And let me just go forward to the banking stocks. You've talked about banking stocks, then you were specific: Zenith, GT, I believe Access. You spoke about agriculture, Presco. You said Dangote Cement and Boa. Then the defensive, you went MTN and Seplat. Those are the ones that you mentioned. Again, just to reiterate, these are recommendations, not advisory. This is not an offer to buy or sell. Past performance is not a guarantee of future performance, and investing in stocks is very, very risky. Just put that out there. So any other comment you want to make, sir, or should we then move now to the foreign stocks?
No, I think it's
fine.
I'm fine.
Gotcha.
Yes, I think I saw a question online on someone asking for NASD stocks. That's where the non-quoted stocks are listed.
Mm-hmm.
There are some top stocks, Wamco, that produce
Peak milk.
Peak milk. They've been doing very well. There's one oil company, oil and gas company there in exploration that's been doing well. So it's what we always just advise when you look at what are their past results. Just look at it's published. Look at, are they doing very well? Look at their past results, and if that will give you an idea that if they are profitable over the years and they've been paying dividend, then it's also a stock to look and for you to look into. Like you mentioned Nestle, for instance, we know that what's dragged them to the negative shareholders fund is because of the FX exposure. But when you check their turnover, it's still very high. Means business is still going, but because of one or two events in the country, they have become unprofitable, which as long as they continue to sell, they would also get out of the woods.
Excellent. Good commentary, sir. So I know I don't have you for a long time, so I'm really trying to. I'm getting lots of DMs, not even looking at them. I just want to get as much as we can from you tonight, sir. Let's go now to the foreign stocks. That's one of the sectors that we mentioned in our asset allocation. So how do we approach foreign stocks? Do we go ETF? Do we go the mutual fund route, or do we go the individual route? Do we go high cap, low cap? What's your take on how a Nigerian wanted to invest 5 years? how should you approach foreign stocks? What's foreign in the first place?
Okay, thanks. So when we talk about foreign stocks, it means you are investing in stocks that are listed outside the country. But I think for now, for most of the platforms that are available from Nigeria, give access mostly to US stocks. So when we are speaking from the Nigerian angle, most times when we talk about foreign stocks, you also have, it gives you only mostly exposure to US stocks and US ETFs. So if I'll look at if you are going to invest from two perspectives. If you know you don't have much time to monitor the market, you can do a 50-50. You look at the top 5 stocks based on even market cap that have been prepared. Look at the likes of Apple, Tesla, Google. You want to put maybe half in that. Then you look at maybe you want to invest in the ETFs like the S&P 500. That's the Vanguard 500. Also did well last year, almost 20%, I think, last year. Yeah, so you also want to invest in that. And if you don't have time at all, you can just look at the ETFs. Like the ETFs covers some are sector specific. You want maybe in the technology space, you want to invest in ETFs covering technology. The top listed stocks, that's the Vanguard 500 or the all-share index, you want to invest in. So what happens is if the market is doing well, automatically you're also benefiting. And most of these ETFs also pay dividend. I know because I also invest in them. So they pay dividend. So you can look at that. But if you feel you have the time, you can look at stocks within the electric vehicle space. We know that there's still a lot that are going into the renewable. A lot of support within that space, the likes of Tesla. We still feel that will present good opportunities. Stocks within the AI space would also present opportunities. You have the APLD. You have, I think, even Google is also going into AI. You want to look at that. The charging stations. I feel that at least the top ones that are well known, the charging point, EVgo, most of them are really have gone down. And it's when they are down that you feel, as long as you look at the business opportunities that still remain, you can buy it. So talking about the EVs, Lucid in the US is also a stock you want to review and invest in. And those that want to have a bit of exposure to, maybe you don't want to buy the direct cryptocurrency, there are stocks like Mara and Bit Digital, BTBT that tracks Bitcoin, that tracks Bitcoin that you can also invest in. So that's what I would say about the foreign stocks.
Okay, so I have that in there. The key thing here you mentioned says the exchange traded funds, ETFs, which allow us to diversify our holdings at a very, very cheap cost. So ETFs are like unit trust and mutual funds, but you can trade them during the day, more or less, right? And you buy, like you say, you buy one Vanguard ETF. Expense rate is less than 10%, right? But you get exposure to your top 5 stocks in America, the Apples, the Teslas. And again, like you said, if you don't know what to do, go with the professionals, go the ETF route. You mentioned renewables, like the ETF like that target the renewables and the tech sector. So like I always tell people, start from the top, right? Start from the top. So you do US, then you can then go maybe large cap, then you can then go to your specific sectors before you go to your specific companies, because you don't have the money. To buy one stock of Tesla is nearly $250, right? Just one stock of Tesla. But with $25, you could buy a fractional share of an ETF, say VTI, that tracks about 4,500 individual stocks. So for you, it's diversification and all that kind of stuff. So the last one we're going to really talk about is, you mentioned gold, you mentioned crypto. You talked about crypto right now in this foreign space. But let's talk about gold. So how do I buy gold? You know, I went to the States and I went to the departmental store, I think it was Costco, and they were literally selling gold bars. So you can go to the departmental store and you can buy gold bars from Costco, literally gold. But how can an investor in Nigeria that can't come to a store in America, how can he invest or get exposure to that gold, sort of hedge that portfolio, sir?
Okay, thanks. So in also in Nigeria, maybe someone will also remind me. I know there's a gold fund in Nigeria.
Is it not new gold ETF?
New gold ETFs. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, new gold ETFs. But if you also want to go route, there's also a gold ETF listed on the Nasdaq exchange. You can also buy that through most of the platforms that gives access to US stocks. So you can also buy that there as you are buying your US stock or you are buying your ETFs. So to access those the foreign stock, foreign ETF, or the gold ETFs is through the platforms that gives you access to the US stocks.
Okay, all right, sir. I got you. So now, so I just want to see if I can just take all these questions that are popping up. I haven't looked at them now, but I want just maybe start to take them on so we can sort of get the crowd integrated. If you've been listening, guys, I've been speaking to Mr. Ayodeji Ebo. He leads Optimus from Invest. He's the Chief Business Officer. So I'll have to ask you about what Chief Business Officer does. I'll have to come back and ask you about that specifically. So if you've been following, he's giving us his portfolio on how, as a Nigerian with a 5-year investment horizon, how should you approach that investment? He's giving that to us, right? And again, it's not advisory, but what I'm taking from it is I'm learning new options on where I should put my money. So you don't have to have a 5 or 2 year, but he's giving you options. And of course, look at how he's approaching the market. 40% Nigerian bonds giving you income, 20% foreign bonds hedging that Nigerian fixed income exposure, 20% in Nigerian equities for Nigerian inflation, 10% foreign equities to hedge your Nigerian position and also to give you income. Then look at crypto, look at gold, protecting the entire portfolio with shock absorbers there. So it's a very, very tidy, well thought out portfolio. So let's now go into the guys I want to ask questions. Thanks for hanging out with me so much. Let's start with everything, Satoshi. Let's keep it short. We have a ton of people to ask questions, and I only have Mr. Ebo here for a very short time. So go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you for the time. This beautiful space. I actually did come up initially before he went down the rabbit hole of what he wanted to say, to ask about the Bitcoin ETF, actually, and what your thoughts were on that. But probably I could just direct the question to Mr. Ayodeji and ask him personally if Invest does have a Bitcoin strategy, Bitcoin particularly strategy, because of the fact that it's what majorly this sovereign wealth funds and pension funds and BlackRock and the rest of them are really considering at the moment. So does Invest have a particularly Bitcoin strategy, or is it just crypto in general? And given that you are much of a technology believer, I just wanted to know why your conservative nature of 5% for cryptocurrency is that way. If you can sort of expand on that. I think this is my short version of questions I have. So if you can just particularly touch on the Bitcoin ETF per se, which one would you, have you looked into it? Have you looked into like the nitty gritty? Have you looked into the have you read the trust, S1 and all of that? And I know probably Olumide has, I don't know if you can also touch on it, but particularly you can also touch on whether or not Invest is looking that way, because
right. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Ayo.
Okay, thanks. I think I have my friend here, Olumide, who will speak more on the crypto. Is an expert in that space. But based on the strategy for us, for the Invest, when you look at strategy, would only tie into policies. So it's less than 2 or 3 weeks that the government is now permitting the trading of cryptocurrency. And like on the Optimus by Afro Invest platform, it's something that is there but are not being turned on. It's until when you feel that the policy is right as we go on within the year that will also be turned on. The US stock will be turned on end of this month. So that's what we believe. Policies first, and it's good that the new CBN management, I'll put it that way, we're seeing that is an area that can help retain FX within the country, because we all still trade. When it was banned, we all still were trading heavily through other platforms, so that would really help. And why 5%? It's because this is like a very conservative portfolio. Your risk appetite, you can move things around in terms of percentages if you know based on the risk the risk level or tolerance that you have, or the understanding. A lot of people, in cryptocurrency, you can lose your shirts if you don't understand how it works. So, but you can also make a lot of money there if you understand how it works. So, I think I will just, because I can see even there are a lot of questions, I'll be keeping my responses very short so we can cover much ground. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think we'll just leave it at that. And maybe, Olumide, did you want to speak anything, not just on Afro Invest, in terms of maybe the financial sector and crypto? I know we're expecting the US ruling on crypto anytime soon. Is there anything we should know about as an investor, 5% crypto? Is there anything you want us to say on that?
Yeah, I think I really did a very interesting.
Sorry, I need another.
So, Mr. Ayo, Mr. Ayo, I was asking Olumide if he wanted to expatiate on the question by everything Satoshi on in terms of the 5% ruling that you did, and also the ruling we're expecting from the US SEC on crypto. If that was going to make an impact, if for instance US says that US banks or US insurers can now do the spot ETF, will that change your portfolio? So I want Olumide to touch on that and all that.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I think I did a pretty much very comprehensive investment strategy for different risk appetite. But I think I want to just differ a bit. So if you look at, and I'll be very brief, if you look at the team of the space, $1 million, that's about $800, right? That means you are at the lowest level of the middle class bracket in Nigeria. I'm using analysts and partners and data. So pretty much it tells me that you don't have luxury for excessive risk. So I won't even put you in the crypto or high risk assets. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at opportunity that will make me ride the trend in the next 5 years. So I will divide my portfolio into two, and basically I'll keep it simple depending on my sophistication. If I'm like Ayodeji, for example, that tailor approach will definitely make you human, because what it's trying to do is that just in case an asset is overweight on that price, that diversification will definitely blow such a negative differential. But you don't have that luxury with $800 in return. So 5 years, what I'll do is that I'll put 400 in private government bonds, wait for the listing of the big boys that are coming on the NGX, and definitely put my money into once it comes out. So while I'm waiting, I get interest. Then I'll look at US stocks, for example. I can't afford to pay ETFs because of commissions. I can't afford that. Money is so little for me to even make a difference on growth in the next 5 years. So I'm really looking at stocks that will really ride in the next 5 years. So right now, I think it's defensive stocks for me. Defensive stocks, health stocks that are utility. If you look at what happened last year, they did very badly because of lawsuits. They had FDI issues. I don't want to call particular names, but I'm particularly writing on that with the cases of more disease outbreak, the cases of population growth. We're definitely going to see demand and generic drugs becoming more competitive. Even though we see Asian tigers coming into play in that market, I still believe the Americans have the edge. So definitely I'm looking at those stocks. And the reason is because if you look at the price they are last year, 3 of the major health stocks are below 52-week low. So as a fundamental, I'll definitely buy the dip. And I know the odds are that definitely I will get a premium at this some point. So that's basically my strategy. For crypto, with that amount of money, I don't think I would advise someone to put in, because honestly, you can't even buy, you definitely buy a Satoshi, or you buy, and crypto today, you've seen the market, it can go up 30%, can go down 20%. Yes, over the next 5 years, it's still unclear. So I'm very particular about looking at less risky and relatively safe and high return investment. So that's my take, Carl.
I think that's a wonderful space. I think you touched on something I didn't want to touch on. It's 1 million naira. So it's not for the quote unquote big boys, sorry. It's for the folks that have money, 500,000, 10,000, and want to start to invest. I see how Mr. Ayodeji has been. It's a risk adjusted, very, very conservative portfolio for a reason. If you lose that 1 million, I'm not sure you might get that 1 million naira back tomorrow. So this is not for the guys that are very sophisticated. It's a very, very simple portfolio, something you can build on, because it's a risk adjusted, very, very conservative portfolio. That's really where he's going to. Lumide, thanks for giving that clarity. I hear you saying health stocks, defensive stocks, and all that. Good call. Let's just run through the table. Austin, go ahead, sir. Austin Shedu. Keep it very short. Go very direct. Ask your question. Austin, go ahead. Austin going once. Austin going twice. Technocrats, please go ahead. Technocrats going once. Technocrat going twice. Shuaibu Benjamin, please go ahead, sir.
Well, apparently, okay, so I can go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
Privilege. Thank you for this privilege. I once sent you a message on how to invest my 1 million naira, and you replied that you don't give investment advice. So I'm so happy that this space is up this evening, and it's helping me already. If I decide to invest my 1 million naira in a fixed, what is it called? Maybe a place where I can get a place where I fixed return without any form of risk. Is it okay that way?
Yes, Mr. Ayodeji is dropping in, so I'm going to answer before he comes up. When you do look at it this way, Mr. Ebo, right? There are only 2 ways you can invest. Only 2 ways you can invest. You can invest in what we call fixed income, and you can invest in what we call variable income. When you do fixed income, that means you are sure of the returns you are going to get. But because you are sure of what you are going to get, your returns are kind of lower than if you invested in what we call variable income, which is investing in a share. So for instance, you have a farmer. Your farmer comes to you and says, I'm going to sell maize by the end of the farming year. Borrow me 1 million naira and I will give you 10% fixed. So you borrow that farmer 1 million, he gives you 1,100,000 fixed 10%. You don't care whether he makes a loss or you make your 10%. But what if the farmer, that's fixed income. But the farmer can say, borrow me 1 million, and when I sell my maize, I will give you 10% of the profits I make, which means you are investing in the profit and loss of that farmer. So in this case, you can make 100 million if the farmer sells his maize, whatever happens, right? Or you can make 0. What if the farmer's weeds get eaten by pests? That's equities. When you invest in equities, you are investing in risk and reward. If you invest in debt, you are going to get your money sure, but the returns will not be as high as equity. So if you, as a younger man, as a younger person, right, that's why we chose 30-year-olds, you are looking to accumulate your assets. You want to grow your assets because you still have a lot of time. You want to grow those assets so that they can pay you as you are living, right? So you want to look for ways you can grow that money. That is up to your risk appetite. That's why if you invest in equities, you are allowing your money to appreciate. But if you invest in fixed income, your money, your interest is paid to you, but your principal would not appreciate. You see it? So fixed income only gives you return on your money. Equities give you return off the principal itself. So it's good to do a balance, so you don't lose your principal, but you allow your money time to grow. Does that make? I try to compress investment in just a few sentences. Do you have a sense of what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think I'm grabbing some things.
Yeah. Please, if you can go online, try to Google where would I invest 1 million. I write for Nairametrics. You will see this article. I write it almost every year. Try to Google where would I invest 1 million, and I'm also going to share this article also as well, and also listen to this recording, and try to understand what the point is making. Don't focus on the individual investment. Try to understand the concept of what Mr. Ayodeji is talking about, how you draw up a plan according to who you are and invest according to your objectives, not according to returns. That's the one thing you want to take from this tribal, yeah? All right, super.
All right,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
I think
All right, super. Let's get Mr. Ike God. Ike God, please go ahead. Ike? Oh, Ike God going once, Ike God going twice. Olutemi Memodu. Please go ahead, man. Ike, I can hear you. Please go ahead. Tell me, hold on. Ike, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Carlo. So, it's an interesting topic we got here, and as an avid investor, I've been investing in the Nigerian stock since 2007. But when I left the country, I discovered that it was really very difficult to access most of the stocks I got when I was in Nigeria. So my contribution to this discourse is, how can we create an enabling environment for Nigerians at home and in the diaspora to invest in the Nigerian stock market from any part of the world where they live or reside? Like here in the United States, we have apps like Robinhood.
All right, Ike, just for time. Ike, I think in Nigeria we have lots of apps that now allow you from where you are in the world to buy into Nigerian stock market. Most of the big stockbroking firms in Nigeria are all online. Most of them. If you pick any big one, they all have online portals. There are also apps that are not stockbrokers, but are licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission to trade stocks. So, and Mr. Ayodeji mentioned a few, Cowrywise, and all that. They're all there. Piggyvest even said they allow you to trade and maintain a portfolio abroad. I think all they want is you have to upload a KYC document, either a driver's license or something to show who you are. Then you open an account online and you can trade. You can fund your account and you can trade. So it is available now, Ike. If you send me DM or whatever, you would get lots of that. Just also Google online. You'll see tons of Meristem, Optimus, CSL, FCMB, IBTC. They all have online portals that allow you to open an account, upload KYC documents, fund your account, and start to trade. Make sense, sir?
So secondly, my question is, those stocks that I'm talking about now, can this organization also help to recover them? Because
good question.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. I think what you should try to do, sir, right? If you get a stockbroker, they can go to the registrar of the companies where you bought the stocks in, right? You can mandate a stockbroker to go and collect your past dividends and your past, maybe the bonus certificates. They would ask you for identification. They might charge you. They will go there because it's all in there. They would print out your past dividends, if possible, print out your bonus if possible, and give it to that broker to then put into your CSCS statement on your behalf. So I would say contact a stockbroker and say, hey, this is my problem. I invested in the past in, say, Nigerian breweries. They have a registrar. They will go to the registrar of Nigerian breweries with your mandate and your ID and try to get your past certificates and bonuses and pay into a CSCS they open for you. So the answer is yes. Just get a stockbroker and then go ahead with them. Does that work?
Okay, one last
Ike, we gotta go. Lots of people trying to speak, yeah?
All right.
All right. I got Olutemi. Send me a DM, okay? Send me a DM. I'll make sure I answer it. Olutemi, how you doing? Please go ahead. Olutemi.
Hi. Good evening. So, I just want to ask your opinion about investing in FX commodity.
FX commodity, wow.
Yeah. For some time, there's been an investment option on my mind, but little has been said much about it.
Mr. Ayo, she's asking about commodities in general, FX in particular. What's your take, sir?
Okay, thanks. So coincidentally, I've also invested in it, and I made money and exited. Then I think it's also an investment option to consider, but it's seasonal, so you need to understand when you are coming in. Nigeria, it's something you can also do for the long term. It's also good, and they also have like an app where you can easily access and purchase the commodities, soya, rice paddy, and co. I think maize. Yeah. So I don't think it's a bad one. Yeah.
Mr. Ayo, I understand there are some other stockbroking houses, the security houses that tend to do both Nigerian stocks and FX commodities. Do you have like examples of those institutions like that?
No, so at the institutional level, so there's what we call B2B that they do, and the B2C. So they use the mobile app for if you are doing the B2B that you want to purchase in bits. But for the B2C, so the B2B, it's more of fixed income. So maybe they need to raise about 2-3 billion. They want to fund purchase of commodity in bulk. There are firms that likes of because it's not a public app. We only speak about Afro investors. We have a relationship with them. I won't want to speak about other firms, but it's not like a publicly available information for those that have partnership with them. But you can also reach out to FX themselves. It's also a reputable organization. They are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yeah, I think Mr. Ayo, I think FX actually have that license. Yeah, they have that license to do commodities, and they've been there in that space for a long time. They know what they're doing. It's not just to trade. They have the warehouses, they have the connections. Like Ayo said, they have the app. You can actually invest money on that app. You can trade on that app. You can see price movement. So if you want to do commodities, the rice, paddy, the cocoa, that's your bet to go to. You know, you can say you want to do what they call booster through on that firm, but it's easy to just go through straight to FX. I've had them here many times in the past, and they've been fantastic. So it's a very, very good way to do uncorrelated investment. You know, you are buying assets that are not correlated to government budget. You know, maize will sell, you know, ginger will sell, things like that. So I would say if you want to go into that space to diversify that portfolio, it's a good idea, just for diversification.
All right, thank you, Samuel.
You're very welcome. Yeah. Let me get Bio Richie. Bio Richie, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Kalu, for the opportunity. My question is actually about the percentage in the 5-year horizon inflation edge for Nigerian stocks. So I can see 20% have been allocated here, but I was looking at the all-share index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and I can see it in the overbought region. So I'm thinking, like, would it be advisable to, for example, increase my portfolio in bonds? Then, as I get my interest, I can now time my entry towards the market correction of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. You
said a bad word. You said time, so that's a bad word in investment. I hear your question. It's a very, very good question. But let me just say, before Mr. Ayo answers, overall, try not to time when you go into a market. Pick your sector, pick your objective, then pick your asset to match your objective. So if you are younger, there's this rule. It's not a law, it's a rule. They say minus 100 from your age, and the larger amount should be in equities, right? So as a younger person, your objective overall, this is the average, right, is to generally grow or to expand your principal. You want to grow the principal. You want to make 1 become 10. So the only asset class that does that for you is equities. You can invest a naira in a stock, and that 1 naira becomes 2 naira. It can also become 0 naira, but it can become 2 naira in equities. But when you buy bonds, your principal can never increase. What will happen is you get a return on your principal. So if equities are overbought and you're a younger person, if you change your objective has not changed, right? It's still, you want to still appreciate your capital. If you then go to bonds, you are chasing returns, you're not chasing your objective. That's where you enter trouble. It's the same reason I could do cryptocurrency 90%, then time and come back to the stock equity market when it changes. See where I'm going to? If you are chasing returns, you'll be chasing even crypto, because crypto gives you a bigger return than equities that should protect you. Remember, this is a 1 million naira portfolio. But let me see Mr. Ayos if he has something to add. Mr. Ayodeji, I don't know if you had this question clearly, sir.
No, I had this question, and I think you've answered it correctly. Timing market most times it becomes like you are trying to speculate. So if you are trying to invest, just if it's because you are looking at it the long term, market looks very we'll say overbought levels now. But you can, if you are buying over the long term and you are waiting, then there will be no problem. Even if you are buying GT Bank currently at 43, they're able to pay a dividend of 350, 4 naira. That's almost 10%. You'll still be in the money, and businesses will continue to grow. Yeah. So if you want, you can take that position. You can take that position now. But if you feel you want to be in the next 1 or 2 months, we expect there should be a correction, at the slight correction. Then you can just that fund you can come in, but always have that long-term perspective. Those that are benefiting now are mostly those that were willing to go long-term.
Interesting. Let me ask you this question. If Monday we wake up Monday morning and the US SEC announces that spot Bitcoin are now approved, is there any direct Nigerian company or sector that would automatically and immediately benefit from that decision in the US? What do you think?
Very good question. Directly, no. That's because we don't have any licensed or listed Nigerian company by the CBN, Nigerian Securities Exchange Commission, that has crypto asset exposure. However, it's going to make the space competitive. So we have banks already, Nigerian banks and fintech companies. I just don't want to mention names, but we have, I think, about 7 of them right now. Three are listed. And unsurprisingly, if you look at one of them is a Tier 2 bank. In fact, it's one of the best performing Tier 2 bank on the NGX after Wema Bank. So I'm very optimistic that such position will definitely amplify blockchain technology. However, it doesn't give any direct affinity with what is going to happen in the capital market. This is because the CBN and Securities Exchange Commission have shown that they are interested in regulated digital security. That's why the new CNGN that is backed by the Naira has approval. I've not heard anything about Binance, Bitcoin, or Ethereum.
Okay, so if I hear you what you're saying is that if it's approved on, say, Monday, you think the banking profit will go up, but it won't show up in the stock market? I'm not sure I got that clear. Just to clarify.
Well, I'm saying that indirectly it's going to amplify Nigerian banks that have affinity with blockchain technology. Because the ecosystem is going to get more wide and traditional investments will come in to play. And that's what I mean.
Okay, I got you. Okay, let me get See you. Hop in here. See Ugo. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, Carlo. Hi, Olumide. I really respect you guys. Listening to a lot of what you say. I just want to ask a few questions in terms of derivatives. Is it possible to enter a derivatives market with in terms of agri sectors and energy in Nigeria? So looking at futures, options or swaps? Is it possible? Because you know, most of the time you want to protect yourself against price risk, and just want to find out if that's a possible venture to put yourself into. Thank you.
Not yet in Nigeria. Mr. Ayo is here. He's the expert. Not yet. So I think we only have rights issue and all that. Mr. Ayo, what he's talking about, right? Put, spot, all that kind of stuff.
No, I don't think. Yes, the Nigerian exchanges were working. They tried to, I think, launch one or two derivatives, but it's still like upcoming in Nigeria. It's not an area that it's not an investment that may be available on the tip of your hand on platforms where you can easily buy.
Let me ask you, but see you. Let me ask you a question. Are you going short or long? What are you trying to hedge?
I'm looking to combine some kind of agriculture and capital intensive. I've seen it with energy with Enron, so I'm trying to see if I can be able to merge that with rice. But I've looked at the articles. I don't think rice has any futures or any type of price risk management, but I think natural gas does. So I'm just trying to see if that's possible to put any kind of investment into.
I mean, you know, just came to my mind that we used to have these folks in Nigeria that were trying to do what you are saying, but it was fraudulent, i.e. they were buying rice in February, March, April, and then selling the rice in November, December, and more or less trying to, you know, you could invest in them, and what you were actually buying was a put in January, February, and then a call in December, November. They were actually doing that without knowing they were doing a derivative. So they were taking the excess of the market and releasing the excess back to the market at various times to take that arbitrage you're talking about. But in terms of that thing being regulated, no. And that's why you have the fraud. So people just saw the returns and put the money in, and they did not have the rights to buy to meet those contracts. You know, if you understand what I mean, they had the idea. But the problem you have in Nigeria is the supply. If you hedge rice in Nigeria, the counterpart delivery is where you're going to have a problem with. So if someone says, "Okay, I want to receive my rice. I want the contract to come to fruition, supply my rice," then you have a problem. But if it's
but that's if you're doing to the forward contract. If you do with the futures, you have an exchange, then you can eliminate counterparty risk. Can't you do?
But you don't have the underlying asset that you're going to build that contract on. Was the problem, because someone in Kebbi will tell you, "I will give you rice in 3 months." You sell that forward or that future to a third party. I'm saying that the actual rice in Kebbi is stuck on an express road, either with bandits or bad road. So that if that contract itself is allowed to unwind, you have no rice. So it's no longer a short sale. It's no longer like a short squeeze. It's the actual product is not being delivered. Delivery risk. That's the problem in Nigeria. That those actual things. Okay. Great question, sir. I'm Mr. Ayodeji. So let's get Alan. Alan, hey, what's on your mind, sir? See you. Thank you so much, Mr. Alan.
Thank you,
Alan. I got Alan. Jerome. Let's get Jerome Dozier. How you doing, sir?
Okay, good evening.
How you doing, sir?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Mr. Carly. Okay, I've been following the conversation. Thank you. It's been very educating and insightful. I just really want to ask a very quick question with regards to investing in the stock market. I think you mentioned some platform and exchange in Nigeria. Yeah, I just wanted to ask a very simple and direct question, which is when we invest in these exchange, I think I've been quite conversant with, I think, 1 or 2, Truth and Bamboo. My question is, when we invest in this exchange, do we actually purchase the actual stock, or they are just contracts for difference? They just give us the difference, or we actually own the stock with regards to this company? That's my question.
You actually, so look at it this way, right? Let's look at even Nigeria. You have a company called CSCS. When you buy a stock from a company, the first time it's sold, the primary share, the first time it's sold, the company sends you a paper called a certificate. It's good, but if you want to sell your shares, you have to take that paper and transfer to someone else. So it makes it bureaucratic and it makes it long-winded. So you have T plus whatever. What CSCS and registrars and customs do is that they eliminate the need of the paper. So the paper is stored in a central place. So if I want to buy or sell, I just transfer on the computer. I don't have to transfer the paper. So now fast forward this now to you buying stocks in American stocks in Nigeria. When you are buying stocks through, say, Bamboo or Cowrie, you are going through a company called Drive Wealth. Drive Wealth is a registered company in the US. It's actually Drive Wealth that is making those purchases on your behalf, right? So that's why you can sit in Nigeria and buy the certificate, because Drive Wealth on the system in America will file that paper for you to say Jerome owns one fractional share of Tesla and Jerome is in Nigeria. You don't have to get the physical certificate from Tesla. So it happens immediately because it's a movement of numbers or bits and bytes from America to Jerome in Nigeria. So that's what happens. If you read the Drive Wealth or the Bamboo paperwork, they will tell you there, if you request to have the physical certificates, and it's not just because you live in Nigeria, even in America, if I buy shares in America, I don't get the physical certification. But if I request to have it, it can be given to me. So you have to wait, because they'll go get the certificate, they will process it, they will post it to you. Then what's the point? If you want to sell, you have to take that certificate, send back to them, it will be processed before it can be sold. So the answer is that you don't, I hear your question, but it's because you think you don't need it. Once you have it booked on Drive Wealth, it's yours. If Drive Wealth goes down today, if you remember, there was a company in Nigeria called, what's their name? They went out of business. Passfolio, yeah, excellent. Passfolio went out. Immediately, your shares were given to another American company. And the American company wrote to you and said, hey, we've taken out from Passfolio. We're now the new guys. Deal with us. I have shares in I have my shares in that new company because I bought shares through Passfolio. So nothing really happens to you. It's a nominee. Your shares are held in the CSCS or the custodian of the US stock market. You are just listed as the owner. So that's really, does that answer your question? You own it directly. Yeah.
Can Drive Wealth create arbitrary stocks, tokens?
Not really. You can create synthetics, but not in the stock market. Not in the stock market, because you are buying. The actual physical certificate represents ownership. Somebody else, I can here create a synthetic share of US Bank or of Bank of America. I can do it and sell to you. And I say, if you buy this synthetic of mine, it's representing the stock of Bank of America. And if you trust me enough, we could have a market on that. We could do that, you and I. But can Drive Wealth do that? That would be too... you can't just wake up and say, because they're not the custodian, first of all, to start with. So the custodians cannot.
The reason I ask is because that's just so much power to be tempted to do that.
No, it's just custody. It's just the same way. Look at Apex. Apex has a warehouse with rice. Then Apex creates a contract for rice. It's the same thing with stocks. The stock market is really an agriculture. The DNA of the stock market is from agriculture, futures, forwards. It's all agricultural terms. So in the stock market, you have the shares of the companies listed. If you go to CSCS, you have your shares there. Why would you want the physical? If water pours on your certificate of Nestle and it's £1 billion, you can't sell that certificate anymore. If you hold the physical certificate of Nestle and your daughter draws a nice face on the certificate, what do you do? 1 billion. But if it's CSCS, it's there. Can CSCS create a synthetic? No, not really, because it's the way it's sorted out is you just can't on your own say I have these shares. It's safer even for you. In the past, Mr. Ayodeji would say, in the past we used to have fraud where people would go and they will duplicate your Nestle certificate, duplicate it and sell. How was that possible? Because there was no central registrar. But now if you bring a certificate to the market, it's easy to track where that certificate is coming from, who sold it. Because it's all electronic. I know who sold it, where it was bought from. So you just can't walk in from the space and say, I have 1 billion shares of Nestle. Jerome, does that answer your question? Do you want to have a comeback on that?
No. Very perfectly. Thank you.
Mr. I, do you want to add anything to that, sir?
No, I think it's fine. You answered it.
Excellent, sir. Wingman. We've got Wingman. Let me also go to DMs. Oh my God, I've not looked at DMs. Wingman, please go ahead. DMs blowing up. Wingman going once, Wingman going twice. Joey.
Wingman is here.
Wingman, please go ahead, sir.
Alright, so
this is a beginner, so I'm trying to find out, like, though actually when I requested the mic, like the question I actually intended to ask has been answered, but just as a form, just for emphasis, like I wanted to ask, like, as a beginner, would you suggest that how much of a capital do you think will be like sufficient enough to actually start? And I'm focused on, like, say, foreign stocks for instance. So yeah, so that's just what
how much if you lose can you
and also, do you think bamboo is a good app to actually go with?
So let me ask you a question. How much would you lose today that you'll still be okay? You still wake up, you still go to work. I see your baby crying. You still feed your baby. How much do you think if you lose, it's okay for you? How much?
Well, like, I think even if I lose, let's say $200 today, I don't think I'm going to commit suicide.
Yeah, so let's start with $200. That's a good start. Let's start with that, and then we build it up. So we build up a portfolio for you that you can invest for the long term. Because the thing with stocks is that you don't want to buy and sell. You don't want to buy it and sell it. You want to buy the stock, allow it to compound. Even your dividends, you put your dividends back into the stock. So now we are saying 5 years. I have an Instagram group that I told them to just buy US ETFs. Just one part. You can buy I can buy VTI or VOO. Just US equities. Hold it for 10 years. Reinvest your dividends. Let's compare results in 10 years. We said this, I think it was 4 years ago. We're now approaching 5 years. Don't sell. Just buy VTI or VOO, reinvest your dividends. Let's look in 10 years the returns you've made. It's not hard to invest in the stock market. The problem is that we think we are smart, so we watch Wall Street, so we want to buy and sell and make money with one sophisticated derivative. No. Keep it very simple. You see a good sector, you see a good company, you buy that company, you reinvest your dividends, you leave it alone. You leave it alone. That's all. Dividends, stocks are profit and loss. If you find a good company, why are you selling? If the shares go up to 100 million, why are you selling? So does that make sense to you? So start with what you can lose, then build a budget based on a percentage of your income. You can say, I'm going to take 1%, 5% of my income and invest in my portfolio. And I'm going to buy ETFs or like Mr Ayodeji just said. Work with the percentage, and then build up from there, sir. You asked about bamboo. If it's SEC approved, I would say it's okay. There are many I use are not SEC approved. I won't say that because now SEC has said to when I was talking about Nigerian apps that you could buy US stocks, there was no SEC approval process. So when we did Trove, there was no SEC approval process. But now SEC is approving folks. So bamboo, I think is approved. I think Cowrywise is approved. Those guys allow you to invest in the US stock market. Also remember the Nigerian stockbrokers like the Optimus, the AfriInvest, the Meristream, the IBTC, CSLs, they all have online portals as well. So you have many options now to invest. There's no excuse. When I was growing up, we didn't even have options to invest in Nigeria online. But now as a Nigerian, you can sit in Nigeria and buy Tesla. So you really have no excuse, right? Wingman, did you have a follow-up or you're good?
I'm good, sir. Thanks so
Excellent. Say hi to your daughter for us, or is it your son? Or
is it son actually? Thanks.
Say hi to you. You're welcome, bro. All right. So I got Joey. Yeah, Joey, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My question goes to Olumide. As a matter of fact, I'm one of those guys taking notes, but I did not hear you very well when you said health stocks and defensive stocks. Is that correct?
Olumide.
Okay, so I just wanted to make the strategy open for educational reasons, and you need to look at last year, for example. Stocks are. I'm more of a technical person, so stocks are really at their premium, and if you look at what is happening this week, you see that there are pullbacks in tail stocks and stocks that did very well, especially those at their 52-week high. So I'm looking at companies that have good fundamentals, but did badly last year. So for US, I was able to factor the health and utility sector. You understand? Now, Kali give you a good option that, okay, you could go to ETFs. ETFs, you don't need to have so much of the guys. You don't look at ETFs that have health focus. But the reason why I'm more specific here is that I want to capture the trend and I want to have more growth in that 5 years. So I'm really looking at stocks that will really play along those tables. And that's why I said that defensive stocks like the health and utility stocks in that sector, they play because of the price we presently trade on and the market recover.
Right. Okay.
Hope that answers you, sir.
Now, yeah. Follow up, right? Say this 1 million is timed by 10. What would you do?
So that's because from Mr. Ayodeji. Mr. Ayodeji is asking that if, in case he has
to Mr. Olumide.
Okay, Olumide, yeah, go ahead. He says if he has 10 million, would it change him?
10 million, I'll still maintain that recommendation because 10 million in the US market, you are still playing. You see, the question here is that for me, from my basic understanding about investment, capital, risk appetite, the tenor, 5 years still in the stock market. I think you can confirm that. It's still not so many years. So I'm trying to capture the trend because we are there are 4 stages in the market cycle. We have the accumulation, we have the distribution, markup, markdown. Now, the US stock market is definitely in the distribution, waiting for markdown. And markdown is only God knows when it starts happening. So you don't want to be caught in crossfires. So you have to build that immunity. And how you build that immunity is go for assets that don't suffer great drawdowns and have chances to grow and have strong fundamentals. That's my own strategy.
Would that be the same for 100 million?
100 million, no, it will be different.
What would that be?
Well, for 100 million, I think Ayodeji's investment will be suitable. But, if you look at it in dollar terms, 100 million is is about $75,000, right? So definitely, I'll have, if I'm below my 40s, I'll have much more way to play with Ayodeji's portfolio. But if I'm above 40, definitely I'll look at the US Treasury market, I'll look at the GLITs in UK, I'll look at Bobels in Germany. I'll probably play around the Japanese here for more of youth positivity with currency differential between Japanese yen and those are how investment banks make money on the side. So that will give me much more side to look on, more returns, less risk.
Let me ask us. Let me ask him, Joey.
What did you say about Germany? Sorry, what did you say about Germany?
China has a property market issue, and China has an FDI issue like Nigeria. But if you look at China, the advantage China has is that.
Linda, he's saying that you mentioned Germany. He's saying, what did you mention Germany? That's what he's asking.
Yeah. Germany is Europe's biggest economy. Germany has much less debt to GDP compared to France and UK. So if you look at it on paper, Germany's debt market is very healthy. So foreign portfolio investors don't ignore that market. And if you look at concessions between ECB's narrative like that, talking about interest rates, leaving it at similar interest rates directive with the Americans, it's more safe to also have some unity against the US dollar because last year, nobody expected the euro to outrun the US dollar despite the US dollar has a strong economy. So it's always good to have that edge, and the best place to edge in Europe is Germany.
Joe, let me also mention this point again for George. I looked at the return in the US markets this year. The price movements surpassed the dividend movements. I.e., if you bought Tesla for $1 and it went to $2, the market reacted more. The profit in the market in the US this year was based on the price movements, no more longer on the dividend movement. That's very significant. That means that as your capital increases, you are more concerned with the opportunity cost of not simply putting the money in the US fixed income market. If you took your money and you put it in a certificate of deposit in America for 1 year, you will get paid 5%. Risk-free, 5%. That means that the market has got to first of all cover your 5% cover inflation to make you even interested in anything. So the more you increase the capital you want to invest, the more you are now worried about your daily, what you are going to get if you simply left that money in, say, in US high yielding investment is going to pay you 7 to 5%. That's the problem for you. The more cash Warren Buffett has, the more he's losing by not investing that cash. So for you, it's going to be, if the more cash you have, you're looking at a more strategic investment to say, I want to buy this particular sector or this particular stock for this particular reason to make a return on that block investment. If you think Tesla is going to open up in China, which he's going to do, he's going to open up a massive new factory in China, and he has already delivered more cars than record today. If you think that Tesla is going to be the number one car company, renewables in America, and that the US government is going to invest billions in the CHIP Act and in renewables as the election takes place, they're going to allow more Americans to buy more renewables, they're going to launch more rockets, then you should take a play bulk in that sort of trade than saying, oh, I want to buy in this sector or this ETF. Those things no longer make sense for you again. Hopefully that makes sense, Joey. You're more looking at bulk. If the more money you have, like if you're a JP Morgan, you're not looking at if First Bank will pay. You're looking at the movement of First Bank from this place to that place, or the direction of this sector from that. No longer the incrementals. You're looking at the large scale. That's where you make the money, because it's no longer dividends. It's price appreciation long term. Mr. Ayo, please go ahead. Yep, you want to say something?
Yeah, so I want to say that I think the last, sorry, I missed the name.
Joe.
That's you
Joey.
Like a savvy. Sorry?
Joey.
Yeah, Joey. So you seem like a savvy investor. So, but like the focus, we try to break it there. If you don't have much understanding about the market, you save 1 million and you're trying to put it somewhere where you feel can be at least preserved. You don't want too much stories about the funds. But when you're getting to that level of 10, 100 million, it's definitely there may be like a change to the mix, because someday we also have more understanding. But I think what I would just wrap up with is that if you don't have, because of listeners, don't have much understanding about selecting stocks, selecting the sector, just go for ETFs, like Mr. Carlo said. It helps. If I look at my portfolio, the VOO S&P 500, but there was no time to even check it for 2-3 months. You benefit if the market is up. You can look at the all share index, the sector, the banking sector. So once you are invested in that, you know that you are covered. It's only when there's a total downtrend in the market that would also impact you. And it's not always when you invest in ETFs, because they are well diversified. You may not gain as much as maybe get the 100% invested in individual stocks, but you also don't lose significantly, because imagine if the Vanguard 500, all the 500 stocks cannot go down at the same time. They will balance out. Thank you.
Well said. And let me just answer this quick question from DMs. And if you're just joining, we're talking about where to invest 1 million naira in Nigeria. We've got Mr. Ayodeji Ebo here, Lumine supporting. We're just trying to get the principles around this, right? I have a question on DM. Very, very interesting question. He's asking, can I invest directly without saving? Can I invest directly from my monthly income without savings first? That question tells me one thing, that we're confusing what savings is and what investing is. The way I prefer you invest is to go direct, which means from your salary, do a direct debit from your salary directly to your stockbroker or to your investment account. So before you even see the money, take it out of your income completely. Take it out completely and do a percentage. Don't do 10, 15. Start with 1%. Say 1% of my salary is going to be invested. That's my target for this year. Next year, say, can I increase that to 2%? Start like that. Get the habit. So don't even see the money. So it's you earn 10,000 naira a month or whatever. Take 1%, start with that, or take 5%, start with that, and put it away into an investment account. Automatically. Savings means you haven't spent your money. When you are investing your savings with intent. With intent, that's the difference. Savings just means you have money, you haven't spent it, so you saved it. When you are investing, you are taking that savings and investing with intent. The difference is the intent, right? It's only investing that has the intention of making you revenue. So that's what I would advise. When do it that way, the way you are doing it. Do it that way. From your pay stub, go to the bank or broker and say, I want to give you a direct deposit from my income. I don't want to see it. Move the money first. When it's your stockbroker, then go there and say, okay, let's invest. It removes the temptation. You always say, I don't have money to invest. It's not true. If you have money to do your phone, you have money to go anywhere, you can have money to invest. Think of the future. Your most important investment today is your retirement. The most important today as a young person is your retirement. Mike, I got your hands up. Mike, go ahead. Mike Amu, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for this opportunity, and it's a beautiful forum. So I've played a little in EFTs. I've also played a little in other stock, that's outside of EFTs, that I kind of see potential for growth. I've gotten my hands burnt a bit. I remember I think that's Lord's Mark, and a startup, an EV startup in the US, right? Still dealing with their bankruptcy or issues right now, but that's a lot on my own side, okay? But then I have begun to look into, or what I begin to consider, the Chinese market. I'm sorry I'm taking conversations away from where it's focused on anyways. I started to look into the Chinese market out of interest, not have invested yet. I know the US market is much more bigger than the next 5 markets combined together. All right, but the Chinese market seems to have some spark that not many people know about. 1, and 2, deliberately by the Western world not to expose that spark. I just want to get your view of that market, and then the possibility of people investing in it. I know the structures around their market might not be as well established as that you see in the Western world, right? But also there's also a bit of risk, investing.
Mike, I think Mr. Ayo, when he says foreign stocks, and let me give an example of a foreign ETF I have in mind. If you do VT, that's the Vanguard, you are buying all the quote-unquote good stocks in the entire world. VT would include some Chinese stocks.
Yes, I know VT has a percentage of Asian stocks. I know that.
The problem, Mike, and again, this is like, I have nothing wrong with Chinese stocks, but let me give you 2 stocks in China that draw my attention. Alibaba, and I forgot the name of the stock, but the stock of the companies that do this prep schools in China. These educational prep schools where you go to the school, you prep to write your job in China. These are massive corporations. China woke up one day and said, those things are banned because it's not quote-unquote socialism. Because only rich people could go to those schools and the poor students can go to those schools. Those companies' stocks crashed. There were 5 of them listed in the US market and all that. They all crashed to almost zeros. Last week, just 2 weeks ago, a Chinese guy wrote a memo. A Chinese policy guy wrote a memo that says kids in China will not be allowed to spend money to buy on-app games, video games. So you can't spend money on the in-app games because they want to restrict how much time Chinese kids were spending online. Immediately, Tencent, shares of Tencent there to crash. The Chinese government had to come out, sack the guy. The guy did nothing wrong. Sack the guy. Look at Alibaba. Alibaba came out. It was going to be the largest IPO on earth. IPO on earth. But he said something bad about the Chinese Communist Party. They've cut that guy down to size. Now we don't see Jack Ma or Alibaba again. This is the only problem I think China has. That sometimes they forget that they are a capitalist economy, but a communist, and then so people get scared about what they will do tomorrow. If you go buy Evergrande was 3 years ago or 4 years ago was a #1 stock in China. It's #1 stock. They need the chairman. They need the chairman. They had a football club. Everybody bought them. Then suddenly the chairman says, "No, 3 red lines," and the entire real estate sector in China has crashed. This is the problem with China, that they can wake up tomorrow and say crypto is banned, and that's the end of it. So if you can stomach the risk, it's a very, very good place to invest.
You've answered my question. Okay,
Good.
I mean, you've actually exposed that instability in their structure. Okay, but I also look back at big time American investors. Warren Buffett, all right, is invested in BYD, their EV companies, right, which is way bigger than even Tesla in terms of numbers, what they turn out, right? If you look at all these things, that they see the risk, but they want to play in that market because they know the market has a lot of potential. You know, so
yeah. The thing is that for a guy that has $1 million, nobody's going to take Warren Buffett's money. Warren Buffett will call Chairman Xi, and they will talk. And the chairman will say, "Okay, Warren, you're our friend." Warren can call the chairman. That's the point I'm making. But we can't call the chairman. So I rather Vanguard calls the chairman for me. So if I buy Vanguard VT, then Vanguard is in China. If they have any problems, they can call and say, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" That's why the policy guy got fired. Because I'm very sure BlackRock and Vanguard must have called and said, "Hey, we have shares in Tencent, and it's crashing because your guy said that kids shouldn't buy games." Now, I don't think what the guy said is wrong, but that's what must have happened. And then China has sacked the guy, and now the kids can buy games. So again, it's back to risk management, just like Nigeria. I'm sorry to bring this into Nigeria. How do you invest in Nigeria? You can buy Nigerian stocks directly. Do you know how I buy Nigerian stocks? I buy Nigerian stocks through the MSIX index. I buy the same Dangote, the same Access Bank. I buy through MSI index. You know why? They won't mess with those guys. When dividends are done, they will give them because they are foreigners. So as a Nigerian, I buy through that foreign arm. I pay the interest too. I'm not saying you should do it. Sorry guys, I should have brought up. I'm not saying you should do it, but for me, it gives me peace of mind. They raided Dangote's head office, right? That's a signal. For me, I don't want the wahala. I'm just in America. Just give those guys their dividends they will give to me. It's the same shares we're buying. So I just don't want wahala with anybody. Mr. Ayodeji, do you want to come in? So sorry, this is not 1 million guys. This is just Mr. Ayo. Do you have any?
Yeah. No, I think because of time, I think you have well responded to. Then I think let me just also mention there are a lot of comments that I'm also seeing. I would also try best maybe by tomorrow if I can respond again to all this night, by tomorrow also to respond to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you are up against a time crunch. I'm going to allow you to exit. I know that's one of just bring it that you are here. And let us say, apart from him being here again, let me say this: he's one of the most humble people I know. This is a CEO. This is a big man that is here talking about investing for 1 million naira. It's difficult to get people that will come here and stay nearly 2 hours to do this. And I'm doing this on purpose because I want those guys that ask a lot of questions, they don't know where to start from. That's why I'm doing all this. So I do appreciate you, sir, for hanging out with us so long. I won't close the space. I'll keep the space open. Okay. We'll try to answer questions. I have lots of guys trying to answer questions, but I'll allow you to then exit and then take your time. Again, when people ask me where do I buy treasury bills, I always copy Mr. Ayo. And I asked him myself, Sam, I'm sorry, Sam, send you too many DMs. He says, no, send the DMs, it's fine. Optimus guys will take care of it. When I wanted to buy US bonds from my association, I gave them Mr. Ayo's name. They sent a guy to talk to them. So I personally use his firm. I personally vouch for him. It's always good to deal with people you know personally. And I thank you, sir, for always being there for us, not just on the space, but on the personal level. Appreciate you, sir. So, sir, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We do love you.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I also learned a lot from this space. And thanks, Mr. Kalu, for the good work you are doing. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, sir.
Thanks for the support. Yeah, thanks.
All right, folks. So thanks, Mr. Ayo. Mr. Ayo is going to bow out. If he stays in there, that's fine. But we have all the folks that we're going to take the questions. I tried to rush because I knew I was going to leave, so I was just trying to rush to get everyone to come in. So let me just take Femi. Femi, hey, Femi Shaba, thanks for hanging on there. I appreciate you. Go ahead, sir, with your question. Femi going once.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey,
Actually,
Femi.
I was trying to see how I could drop.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I said I was actually trying to look at how I could drop off from the speaker
Oh,
section because
should I drop
already I got the information.
Okay, I can do that for you. That's fine. Thanks, Femi. I appreciate you, sir.
Cool.
Not a problem.
All right,
okay,
bless.
I've got Rahim Tunji Aminu.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Because each time you grant me requests, I won't hear anybody again, only you. So I also needed to connect via my phone to hear what people are saying.
Gotcha.
I kept this on my PC.
All right.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Kalu and Olumide, and everybody that's always been impactful to we, the layman, coming into this space. I have a few questions that I want to ask from you guys. The first one, okay, when MTN came up, I bought MTN via Coronation, and they created my stockbroking account with them, and they issued me a CSCS number. So each time I'm buying maybe bond, Sukuk bond or whatever, I always quote that. So, but when someone introduced Trove to me, so I started using Trove. Though all the learnings or the knowledge I'm using on that platform is things that I've been tapping from you guys, and that also interests me to be reading about some of the news and see what's saying. So most time I always gamble, But since I've been using Trove now, I saw that they created the ARM Securities as my stockbroker. So I went to CSC website, I created an account because I was like, okay, all these things I'm doing, if Trove, for instance, crashed today and I don't have access to Trove, how will I have access to some of this investment that I've made? If this one, so I was like, okay, let me go to CSC because I have read that CSCS platform will help you to show all these things. But I created an account and I tried to log in, but they kept saying that I should contact my stockbroker. So I hang there like, okay, which of the stockbroker am I going to? Is it Trove I'm going to reach out to, or is it Coronation? I don't really understand where to go.
Good question. Let me just give you how it works, right? In the past, we used paper certificates to show ownership. Now we still use paper, but all the paper resides in a custodian. That custodian is called the CSCS, the Central Securities and Custodian Service, I think. CSCS, that's where all the certificates are lodged. So if you buy a primary offer, the company will send you certificates, paper. You take it to the CSCS, it's lodged there. The advantage is that if you want to sell tomorrow, CSCS just transfers from your position to the buyer's position. So it's T plus 1 or 2 and 3. Very, very efficient. If you bought shares through MTN, they created this CSCS for you, meaning that your physical certificates of MTN are in the CSCS with Coronation. If you buy or sell, you can go from that CSCS to any other place. If they advise you to advise them your stockbroker, it can be Coronation or ARM. It doesn't matter. You can actually transfer your shares from that one you have to anyone. You can merge them. You can transfer them if you want to. You should just have one or have one. If you have a broker, they create CSCS for you. It's simple. So don't. It's not a problem. If you tomorrow buy through a third company, they also create CSCS for you and they can measure it for you. If Trove or any of these online apps goes under, it doesn't affect your CSCS holdings. They are just like the front face you see on your holdings. They don't control your CSCS. Just get what I'm saying. They can't go into your CSCS and sell without your authorization. That's why you sell a buy or sell contract. That allows them to debit and transfer from CSCS to the buying account of the broker that is basically saying to. Does that answer you, Rahim? Rahim, does that answer you?
Yes. The addition to that is just that when I try to log in after I've created account on CSCS, the normal login registration, I paid maybe 3,000 naira to have access to that. But each time I try to log in, so it usually say, go refer me to that was why I asked the question. But now it's clear, I can send email to any one of them and tell them that this is the problem. So how can I do this? Then the last question I just want to ask is that, now I know there is this IPOs that our parents used to buy then, that they will go and they saw the advert in the newspaper and they'll be going, attending ICSAN or what they call it, meetings up and down, attending meetings. But we that we are now buying, the generation that is now buying online, how do we know which one gives dividend? Is it all stocks that give dividend? How do we know which one gives dividend and which one does not give dividend? If they give, what they receive the dividend? Thank you.
Very interesting question. Sometimes Rahim, again, this is not to you, right? But sometimes, because I'm so into this, right? Sometimes I hear some questions and I'm just, I'm happy I do this because, okay, let me answer the question. Rahim, right? When a company every company has directors and they must give them returns, i.e. annual returns. Dividends are not mandatory, but once you buy shares in, say, MTN or any company and they declare a dividend, they have to declare a dividend at the annual general meeting. So if they declare dividend, they will tell you when they are going to pay. And they will tell you when you should be a member of the company to receive a dividend. So if you simply go anywhere online, go to any coronation or whatever, when you look at the stock tables, if you look at the very, very end of the stock table, you see dividend declared. They will say yes or no. They will say interim or full dividends, and they will actually put the date there when they're going to pay the interim dividend or the full dividends is there. Or you simply log into the share website of the company, look for the investor page to tell you if they've declared dividends and when they're going to be. It's the same meeting you're going to attend. Those AGMs your parents attended were where they decided to pay the dividend. When you bought shares in MTN, all MTN did was to transfer your shares automatically to CSCS. In the past, MTN will give you a certificate. Then you take your certificate to your individual broker who would then put in a certificate for you. But this time they made it a lot easier for you. So you didn't get the certificate, you just got the shares transferred directly to your CSCS. So it's more efficient for you. So if you want to know if, for instance, Flour Mills or Access Bank has paid dividends, just go to their website, go to the investor page. They will tell you that they are going to pay dividends, when they are going to pay it, and if it's interim or full. Otherwise, go to the Nigerian Stock Exchange website. It's also there. What date, when they're going to pay, and all that. Or even any stockbroking app will tell you the stock is paying dividends and when they're going to pay. It's not mandatory they pay. What they're going to pay, they will declare it and they'll be given to you. So Rahim, make sure you can also tie your dividends to your bank account. So don't allow them to post dividends to you in a certificate. Give them your bank account. It's called e-dividends. So that they pay your e-dividends directly to your bank account. And I will say this, open up a separate bank account for your dividends. Don't receive dividends into your non-bank account because it might mistakenly go into Suya. Open a separate bank account for your dividends so you can do what's called a dividend reinvestment plan, DRIP. In America, most of the companies offer a DRIP plan, which means you don't get paid your dividends, but dividends are applied automatically to buy you new shares. In Nigeria, not so, but you have to ask for it. So if they don't offer a DRIP, create one for yourself. You open a new bank account for your dividends. Your dividends are paid to that bank account. Then from the bank account, you now issue your broker a new check to buy you new shares. That's how you want to do it. Don't mix your dividends in with your normal bank account. So that's best practice for you. Does that answer your question, Rahim?
Yes. Thank you so much, Carl. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
But I don't want to be a libertist. Last one is that, okay, now I bought MTN. Now I bought Dan Sugar, Dan This on Trove. Now, let's say I don't know if, anyway, maybe I would just reach out to those people and ask questions. They have customer service that I can ask.
You can merge it. If you want to merge it into one, you can. That becomes your broker. That means that if you want to sell, you sell from that broker. You get. So they actually want you to merge it. If I have your shares with me, you must sell through me. You get it, the game. So It's like having money in the bank. You have money in Access Bank. You can't go to GTB and say, I want my money in Access Bank. You have to go to Access Bank and take your money out. It's the same with shares. When you get the money, you put it in the bank. Then when you want to get your money, you go to that same bank and you withdraw with the ATM. So the bank is your CSCS.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Noel. All right, good. Noel, I got Noel. Noel, hop in. What's up? Noel going once, Noel going twice. I've got this guy, Fulani Headsman. How are you doing, sir?
Hello, thank you very much for this opportunity. So, I did fine.
Let me see. Fulani, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much once again. So, my question is still about dividends. Sorry for taking this again. I just wanted to understand. So, I do understand companies have a specific time that they pay dividends, some based on maybe the quarter basis and all. But what happens when they do not make profit? Because it seems like dividends are paid based on the profit that they make. So, what if the company, doesn't make profit, or what if maybe the company goes bankrupt? What really happens?
Great question. So when you buy a share, you are buying the profit and the loss. So a dividend is not mandatory. When you invest in a company, the company can pay or cannot pay. The company can make a profit and not pay you dividends. Tesla does not pay dividends. As a matter of fact, the way you know a growing company is that they don't pay dividends. Google did not pay dividends for a long time. Microsoft, Tesla didn't pay dividends. Mature companies pay dividends because the way they think is that if the company is growing, it can use its money better to grow that by investing in its own company than paying you a dividend. Do you get it? So in Nigeria, most companies pay a dividend. A good way for you to know is this. If you go to there's a sector called the Nigerian Pension Index. In the Nigerian stock market, they have indexes. There's what we call the Nigerian Pension Index. Nigerian pension companies will not buy a company that does not pay a dividend. That's their rule. So if you don't pay a dividend in Nigeria, the PFAs will not buy your shares. So the PFAs have their own index. So a good way for you to know a company that pays dividends is just look at the Nigerian Pension Index. If the company goes bankrupt, no dividends. The company can also make a profit and decide not to pay you a dividend. No problem. The company they don't allow a company to borrow and pay dividends, but some companies get very innovative and do that. So it's not a guarantee you get a dividend. That's the difference between shares and debt. When you lend a company money, they must pay you back. But when you buy their shares, they are not mandated to pay you dividends. It's not by force. And they can pay you whatever. They can pay you 1 kobo per share or pay you 10 naira per share. So that you have high dividend paying companies and you have low dividend paying companies. Any bank is paying high dividends. Any bank. Some companies in Nigeria don't pay dividend. Yeah? Does that help, Fulani?
Yes, it does, but just a follow-up if that's possible. So what I'm looking at is now you could see that some people are investing, right? So I'll look at a few companies that are dividend paying stocks. Now that's what I want to invest in. So I'm going to say, okay, like I have X amount of money. I'm going to put it in these companies that pay dividend. And then that dividend that is being paid to me, maybe, I can just use that money as my, called passive income kind of thing.
Perfect. Yeah. You are on the right track. So you can do that. Like if your objective, if you are older, if you want to get dividends on the market, that's your objective income, right? You could go to Nigerian Stock Exchange, pull up that PFA index. You will see the companies in Nigeria that pay dividends. If you buy them, right, that means you're going to get dividends from them. So what I advise is this. Open a bank account that is only for your dividends. Then you use that bank account and you use this for your e-dividends. So all those companies will then pay their dividends to that bank account and that becomes passive income for you. Well said. That's how I advise you do it.
Right. Thank you very much. And one last one, please. I just wanted to say this, especially for those that, are in Nigeria as well. You mentioned something about, all these rice companies and all. I think last year I tried playing around with just, locally buying the rice and reselling it. It seems like it's a very profitable business in my own, based on my own calculation, because I feel like something that I bought around 23k per bag, almost for like 40 to 50k. But I do understand the market changes, but I don't know, like, why why is it not something that is very popular? People are not doing it, or are there like companies that specifically do that and they give that much profit? Or
is it for commodities specifically?
Yes, like food stuffs. Let's say now you buy
maize. I got you. What if you ask me, right? The reputable companies that do it are the AFEX people, the at AFEX, AFEX. They do it, right, and they allow you to trade on rice, paddy, ginger, cocoa, and all that. Lots of local players in Nigeria are trying to do it, but they are doing it fraudulently, and some of them start off without understanding that even though there's a price movement, the delivery is what's killing that sector in Nigeria. I know a friend that tried to do what you are saying, where they would take money from investors and they go to the farms and they buy rice. They buy the rice before it is planted. So he was taking money from people, then funding farmers to plant rice, and the farmers will give him the first harvest. Then he pays back the rice farmers. And if you look at the profit or the return on that trade, it's higher than even bank deposits, higher than shares. Because you buy rice at 10,000 naira, the bag comes to him at 15,000, but he's selling the rice at 50,000. The problem with this, when the farmers get harvest, it's either one story or the other. Either there's bandits or the roads or there's insurance. You never get the actual physical things in the same consistent quantity. Remember, to do a commodities market, you are issuing contracts, future contracts, forward contract. A contract means whatever happens, you are going to deliver. So the guy will come to me and say he needs 4 million. What's the 4 million for? He cannot deliver the rice, but he has to pay the interest. You see it. But if he had the rice, he will deliver the same bag of rice that he has been paid for in January at 15,000 naira. He's delivering it today. So he has made 15,000 naira times the interest rate in Nigeria for free if he has the bag of rice. If he does not have the bag of rice, he has to pay them the naira equivalent. So the business is sound, but if I did that same business in America, there are no bandits in Ohio. There are no bad roads in Ohio. So I will get my bag of rice from Ohio to where I live without any problem. No problem. So I will get my bag of rice and sell and make a profit. But in Nigeria, if you go in January and you tell someone, pay me 10,000 today, and I'll either give you rice in December or I give you 50,000 in December. What you are doing is that you are taking a forward bet that the roads in Nigeria will be safe for you. If the roads are safe, you can get your rice out, supply the same rice, and make 40,000 naira free. But if the roads are not bad, you've lost 40,000. That's the problem. There's nothing wrong with, but the environment in Nigeria does not allow that sort of agricultural forward trade. It doesn't allow it. So I wouldn't advise you do it. As a vendor, Olumide, go ahead. What do you?
Yeah, I agree with you. Apart from counterparty risk, I also wanted to highlight liquidity risk because I'm an active trader on the Nigerian stock market. And I'll tell you for free that the spot market itself is not so liquid. Apart from banking stocks and NGX 30 stocks, those are the blue chip stocks, it's always advisable for retail to have a longer term perspective. And that's why personal finance education is very important, because you need to understand that the markets like the United States, for example, market makers provide liquidity. Still at that, you still see gaps. If you look at the chart, you see gaps. Gaps are non-trading zones, but maybe because they are not participants in the market. So you have to be very careful, because gaps can make you lose money. So derivatives is no barrier. If you're going to trade agriculture, they have to go through the FX route. And just like Ayodeji said earlier, you need to go direct with them and understand the risk, because liquidity risk also is a big factor trading Nigerian market. And that's why I usually tell people that, see, you cannot make money in trading or short day trading except you work in those top investment firms that have the pool cash and ability to do OTC transactions, with all these big players.
Yeah, that's just Olumide. That's just it. The numbers look good on paper, but the reality in Nigeria is that delivery risk is a big problem. For liquidity risk, big problem. You see, Olumide, do you see that top 10 returns for Nigerian stock market, the top 10 returns, if you notice, the top 10 guy are those very illiquid stocks. They're making 1,000%. But if you try to sell 5 million units of those stocks, you can't find them. You can't buy or sell them. But they're doing 10,000% return. You know?
In fact, you have to sell them lower than the actual price. I've
Yeah.
done that a couple of times because you can't get a ready buy at that price most of the time.
So it's just they are quoting the number return, but not the actual. It's not available. If you go today now to buy those stocks, you can't see them. But it's 10,000% return. So that's really the if you want to do commodities, I would just say stick with Apex. You know, stick with those guys. They know what they own the warehouse, so they have the commodities in the warehouse. So your delivery risk is a bit reduced than trying to trade on your own. I mean, if you guys do it, but man, the wahala is too much. This is a personal story I'm telling you. There's a guy that comes to my space, Haruna. Comes to my space, a farmer, and he'll tell me he's making 1 bag of rice. He sell how much his bag of maize. You know, after he does all that, how much he pays for a truck to go from his farm to Lagos, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
But the issue that you keep bringing up is about delivery. Why does it have to be delivered? And you also mentioned something about like call, meaning like you buy ahead of time.
Yes.
So what is, let's say now, for instance, I do want to buy. So when the harvest is done, basically when everybody is harvesting and stuff, people buy already. So I buy this and then I keep it. Yeah. So when ideally people are going to be planting again, and then people are still consuming this thing, logically the price would go up, and then that's when I sell those things that I do have. So say now, Mr. Kalu, you give me, like 10 million naira, and I buy, let's say, like 1,000 bags, and then I keep them. I took this money around September, and then now next year around maybe, I don't know, end of the year, December or something like this, I'm going to sell those particular things, and perhaps since I'm making a profit, I'm paying maybe I'm paying you whatever it is. Maybe we're sharing the profit. So what's the problem with the transportation here?
Yeah.
I feel like just buy and resell, or people just buy before actually planting. Where's the problem coming from?
So remember that what you are doing is a trade. If you don't have the underlying asset, it's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
What you are saying is this, and I'll give you the exact for people listening. So people can follow us. Rice sells more in December and November than say April or March. So what people do is that they will come to you and say, "Give me 10,000 naira today. In December, I will give you rice for 10,000 naira." That's what people are doing. That's the trick. Give me 10,000 naira today. In December, you get rice for 10,000 naira. What does the guy do with your 10,000? He takes your 10,000, he takes 5K and gives the farmer. So he buys the farmer's produce already at 5,000 in January or whatever. Because the farmer is getting money ahead of time. The farmer will give him discount on the rice harvest. So in December, what happens? If the farmer gives him the rice, you remember he has taken your 10,000. He gives you rice. So many people don't care about the rice. What they are going to get, they will say, "Don't worry, sell my rice and give me the profit." So he will sell that rice he's given to them at 10,000 for 40,000. Give them 40,000. What is his profit? His profit is he has taken your 10,000 in January and invested it for 11 months. That's his profit. So why do people invest? Because they're going to get the price of rice in December. They'll say, "Oh, my rice is now worth 40K. I don't want you to give me the rice in December. Just sell it for me in whatever it is. Give me naira value." You see, that's the trade. Without having the rice to sell, that means he's going to go and borrow 40,000 naira and pay you. That's the delivery I'm talking about. That's what's going on. Because the rice that the farmer he has paid the farmer can't deliver to him either because bandits or road was bad, so he doesn't get the rice to sell to pay you back. Do you get what I'm saying, sir? Without having that rice, it's a Ponzi scheme, which is what people now start to do. They will now say, okay, instead of selling the rice, they will get money from new people and pay you, then take the money from new people and pay the new guy. That's where this whole Ponzi thing now started, because there's no rice being sold, but there's new money coming in to buy rice in January to sell in December. If you go to their warehouse, there's no palm oil, there's no yam, there's no rice, but they have millions of naira from people bringing in new money to pay off the old money and all that. That's the fraud I'm telling you about. There's nothing wrong with the transaction if we could get the rice, because everybody benefits. The farmers get money outside the banking sector. The guy in Lagos gets customers that need rice cheaper than December buying in December. Everybody wins. The problem is the insecurity and the infrastructure does not allow this rice to go from Kebbi to Lagos. That's what I'm saying. Does it make sense now?
Yeah, I totally understand.
Most of the guys you see don't have rice. It's just Ponzi. Give me money, I give you. They are relying on new money to pay you. There's no rice they are selling to make that 40K. It's money from the new people that is paying you the 40K.
Yes, so that means if I can buy, hold it, and then resell it later, that's something that can...
Perfect. That's what I'm saying. If you can do that, but you can't buy rice in January now. I'm just using an example, because there's no rice in January. You have to buy the rice. You have to pay for the rice today and hope the farmer will have that rice available to give to you so that you can sell that rice, pay off your debt to the subscribers, make your profit, and then you close the cycle. You open the cycle by taking deposits for rice from people. You close that cycle by delivering rice, either by selling the rice or giving them naira. But because there's no rice, what you do, you leave the thing open. You now take new money. You haven't closed the contract, but you're taking new money. I don't want to waste it, but I hope you get the point I'm making. That's what's the problem. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let me just get Mr. Dr. Obiari. How are you doing, sir? Can you hear me?
I'm good, bro.
How are you? We're just talking about agriculture. We had Mr. Ebo here talking about where to invest in. I know we have penciled you down to also come in and tell us where also you would invest $1 million naira. The idea is I want to get people attuned to investing by giving them real life examples. But in your case, I want to make it 10 million. And I want to target to agriculture. Where can I invest 10 million naira in agriculture in Nigeria in 2024? That's for you. But not now. Not on this space. Not now. But I want you to just talk about, I don't know if when I asked Mr. Ebo, I said from the economy, I went top down, the budget, and where we should invest. And of course, we had my conversation with Fulani talking about how to fund farmers using this off balance sheet, unorthodox way of funding. Do you have any views on that, sir?
For me, there is something, doing agric in Nigeria is all about trust. Both from the upstream to the downstream and to the midstream. And basically, over the last 6 years, some of the experience I've gained, I've opened my eyes on the need to do something and then scale it up. Currently, what we are trying to do is to raise, we started it around June, in September, to do dry season, Tenera palm species nursery, and the dwarf coconut. And with 1 million naira, you can do 10,000 seedlings. 10,000 seedlings simply means getting the sprouted nuts of the Tenera trees, buying the bags, getting the sands, putting the soil, planting it, weeding, watering, fertilizing, and then watching it grow to 9 months to 1 year. For 10,000 sprouted nuts of the hybrid Tenera and Super Gene, the worst case scenario, 70 to 80% of it will survive and grow to maturity. It's a cash cow. I'm just letting out a secret. Like I told you, we did 300,000 units 2 years ago. We lost most of them to insecurity and banditry. In fact, because of the activities of unknown government, most of my staff disappeared. As I'm talking to, have a nursery farm of about 5,000 Mexican pineapple orchard that we developed. Very profitable. There are people are harvesting it. It's in the wild because of insecurity. Most of our farmers are not there. So, but what the sprouted nut, the ones within a massive orchard that was not fenced. We lost most of them to pigs. I know these unknown government are very brazen. In fact, there was one bishop that mentioned to me how they will come with a registered government truck, massive truck, and they'll be loading those things and they'll be taking them away. And nobody will question them, nobody will. And so what I now did was, this year we had to now do it in a fenced environment, fenced and gated, in such a way that nobody can have access to it. It's on about 4 plots. In that 4 plots, you can actually do up to 50,000, but we are just doing it in price of 20,000. Like I said, with 1 million, you can do 10,000. And that 10,000, even if 70% survives, is so much money, because it takes an average of about 200 to 300 naira to raise 1 tree up to 9 months, including labor costs. And then you can easily sell it, because it's very expensive now, for 800 naira to 1,000 per tree. I had an experience about somebody that asked me, that's one thing I don't like about those in government. They always want to take advantage. In fact, they called me that somebody wanted to pick about 1,000 units. We agreed on 1,000 naira per unit, and the guy is now saying we should multiply the number, and they say give it to them at 3,000 per unit. Then I will pass 2,000 to him. Whereas me that spent almost 9 months, 1 year, I've been in this thing for almost 5 years, I will just make a spread of about 50-60%. That's the kind of country we live in. But that is by the way. Like I said, give anybody 1 million naira. I will advise the person, go on crops, cash crops. Either you are doing the tenera palm trees, you are doing the dwarf coconut, or you are even doing the date plants, the date trees. The date trees are another cash cow. For most people who do not understand, a hectare of the date tree of 150 trees in 1 hectare can give you as much as $2,800. In fact, the hybrid in 5-6 years can give you about 20 tons per hectare. In fact, from the 50 year, you can start getting 10 tons per hectare. A ton of the dried date fruits in the market today goes for about $8,800. But most people do not even see it. That's why you see us crying every time, shouting and screaming that Nigeria is an oasis of wealth, and those of them who purport to govern us do not have that discipline and rigor to do this. One of the things that motivates us even to go to this Terera dwarf coconut, even the hybrid Mexican papaya, is another one that gives you cash cow. The hybrid Mexican papaya, in 8 months you can start harvesting it. It grows and the fruits for at least 4-5 years before it starts diminishing in productivity. A tree itself can produce about 60 to 80 heads of fresh red papaya. And 9 months it starts producing. And it survives. So if you plant 100 and you multiply 100, 98% of it will survive. And it does not require so much rigor and so much stress to develop this.
So, Dr. Berry, I mean, for most of the guys listening here, I don't think even if they have the money, they don't have the time or the knowledge. Are you looking towards creating some form of outlet or paper where people can say, okay, I have 10K, I have 100K, and I want to invest in this? Shouldn't that be maybe an avenue for us to explore?
Carlos, I'm saying the same thing to you. Basically, like now, there's a place. I'm telling you what I've learned based on experience. Those trees must be planted in a place where it is gated, where you have a borehole. That's what I did now, in a way that you cannot have access to that place unless you have the keys. And of course, I have trusted hands who will make sure that those things are taken care of, and they're taken care of when it's as at when to. For those of them who do not have, I always encourage everybody, if you're not on ground, whoever you're going to be partnering with, the era of you give somebody money, you don't know what the person is doing, is not right. You must have evidence of the person has a gated environment, the person has the facilities to do this before you release your money. I've always said it. Anybody telling you, give me money, I will give you this, without evidence of what he will do, when he will do it, how he can do it, showing you structure to support what he said he wants to do, and then following up gradually. And don't release all the money at the same time, because that was what I normally do. Like I have guys running the orchards now. Basically, I know how much it costs to get the sprouted nuts from Weimar in Calabar. I know how much it costs to get a bag. I know how much it costs to get how many trips of treated soil that can bag 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, something I've done over time. I know how much it will take to fertilize, to apply the initial fertilizer and then the liquid fertilizer growing. I know how many trucks of liters of water it consumes, because in dry season you will spend almost about 10,000 liters of water every 4 or 5 days. So I know how much it costs to bring 10,000 liters of water into the tanks every day. I know how much I pay those that water it. I know how many times you will have to weed the farm in a year. I also know how you can also protect the farm from rats and rabbits going to eat the sprouted nut before they gain, strong roots in the ground. So these are things. Anybody that you're talking that is telling you he wants you to invest your money and put it, you need. But I can tell you, these things I've mentioned are cash cows. They are no brainer. If you can get trusted people who understand how this is done, and you invest with them. What I normally like, the guy is running my orchard now. I do it. I give them that comfort. At the end of the year, whatever profitability, they will take 40%. I will take 60%. It's a way of actually empowering them, creating job, and therefore they are being paid for taking care of the place. They have stipend that you pay them to make sure that they have other things they are doing. So their own is just to come in the evening, water it in the morning, water it, and then go and do their business. But they are sure of monies coming to them at the end of the harvest season. So papaya, terera, the dwarf coconuts, and I always if you can even in your village you can buy land and fence it if you have money. The land is there for you. The value is growing, and you also have something that you create job for people and make money for yourself.
All right, sir. So I think Mr. Berry, we have to bring you on a special space. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
The DM people are saying we should bring you on it. So we'll do itemize. So they bring their notebooks, itemize it. I will have more information because people want to come and walk away with this is what I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. If they can't do it, they tell their brother to say, okay, I heard this. I want you to go and investigate this. And this is what we'll do 1, this is what we'll do 2, this is what we'll do 3. So I'm going to have to bring you back. So that's what the DM people are telling me. And I don't play with those people here. So please, let me bring you back. So we take an hour and just drill down on this. I know because the theme this year is export earnings, diversification. And I hear you say dollar per ton. I hear you say diversification away from bonds and shares. So it's right within our alley. So let's bring you back, sir, if you don't mind. And then take our time.
Okay.
And yes, sir, I appreciate it. Appreciate you hopping in.
Okay.
I think we've got about, this is how much time we've got here total before we go. Luminda has been hanging out with me. I've got about 30 minutes. Luminda is going to be here. Strategy, I have your hand up. Let's run this baby down and see what's going on. Strategy, go ahead. Go strategy, Goshuku, upgrade, Noel, Justice, 1-4, Duka, Odogu. Justice, go ahead.
Hi everyone. Good evening.
Hey, what's happening?
Over here.
Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Lagos,
okay.
Maryland.
Excellent. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, awesome. My name is Olawumi Fashino. I'm sure a couple of people know me on this agri thing. So quick one, my background.
Let's go to the struck. Would you have a question on the topic? Where to invest $1 million?
Yeah, I have a contribution.
Yeah, go ahead, real quick.
So I'll speak to the 1 million. So currently, I piloted a product last year, February last year. Somebody called me, he's a very prominent person. He speaks on TV, on channels. He called me in February last year saying, hey, Mr. Ola, he calls me Mr. Ola. I have 10 million, I have some money, and I want you, because I've had a background of trading agri-commodities, so I want somebody to trade with these funds and give me returns. And coincidentally, I have a network of procurers. I call them procurers. What do these guys do?
Mr. Ola, you have to ask a question. I'm not going to allow you to talk about the scheme.
I'm trying to contribute.
No, but I want to get directly to the question.
Let me just speak to the topic. What can you invest 1 million in Nigeria? 1 million on this platform gives you 50,000. So what I do is he gives me 6 million. I give the procurers.
I'm sorry. I gotta cut Mr. Lumide off. I'm so sorry about that. Let me get Ugochukwu. Ugochukwu, please go ahead. Mr. Lumide, DM me. You can't just speak on the platform I'm not aware of, because I want to be very sure that I am only letting people hear what I've vetted. So I'm so sorry about that. You can DM me and talk about before I let you speak on any investment topic. Stocks, bonds are regulated. But just I'm not sure if you're related, so I can let you go on. Please go ahead.
Okay, Carl, thank you so much.
Hi there. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I am new to stock investment, so I want to ask a few questions. My interest is not in Nigeria at the moment. My interest is in the US. So I want to ask, do you think stocks like Nvidia and Google, do you think they've reached their peak in terms of growth?
Nobody knows, bro. And nobody can answer that question for you. But what we can say is this, right? When you are buying a stock, you are trying to buy the sector. So what you're asking is that, do I think video graphics has reached its peak? What do you think? Do you think video graphics has reached its peak?
I think it's still starting.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if what we assume from outside is what the market calculation gives, because I don't know, how to...
The thing is that Olumide is going to talk about IT and those new IT, which is the NVIDIA, the chips. That's a very, very high moat business. High moat, meaning that it's difficult to get in. But once you are in, you have a very, very short time to build out your capacity, because you then become now you know NVIDIA. There are many people doing what NVIDIA is doing you don't know about, right? Because they don't have the size and the scale. He's there. He's now, I think that's the fastest guy I've seen go to the top 1 trillion mark, or near that 1 trillion mark. He's among the Magnificent 7 now. So he's there now. I don't think he has reached the peak. The question is that, will others allow him to stay there without competition and taking away his market share? That's the question. Chips, it's not just about money. You might have 1 trillion and you can't make one chip. China is importing more chips than crude oil. China, they import more chips than crude oil. That's one thing they import, chips. They can't make enough. They don't even have the technology. Even America cannot make those Generation 5 chips. Only South Korea and Taiwan make Generation 5 chips. So that sector, instead of buying NVIDIA, I would just buy the sector, because I don't know anything about chips. So, but the guys that run that ETF that invest in chips, they know more than I do. So they will spot the next NVIDIA before I would even know what chips are. So I would just say, for those kind of sectors where it is difficult to know the movement of who's going to be a market player, try to buy the sector. For a bank, we know JP Morgan is a big bank. It will be difficult for any bank to approach JP Morgan without us seeing that bank. So we can buy JP Morgan individually. But for a sector where we are not sure where technology is going to go to, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, we don't know what EBT is approved, what will happen, buy the sector. Go. That's, you get where I'm coming from. Where you're not sure, buy the sector. Where you think you are more sure about the direction of the market, you can buy the individual stock.
So you're saying ETF is better for, instead of going direct?
Of course, because you are diversifying your risk. You can buy NVIDIA today and tomorrow a new company will knock them off, or NVIDIA will grow. You don't know. So because you don't know, diversify. So even if you must invest in that sector, there are 3 methods for you. There's buying the US, there's buying tech, then there's even buying tech chips. You can actually go down that rabbit hole and say, okay, I can get as specific without being specific. So because you don't know, I don't know, you don't know. But the guys that run that sector, Olumide knows better than 2 of us, because that's what he covers. But I put a no more than Olumide because they are in Silicon Valley, they do chips every day. So they know better than us and they run funds. So I'd rather give that guy my money and say, invest in IT for me, than trying to do it myself. Hence, ETFs that are focused on chips or tech would be a banger. That's what I'm trying to go to, because we don't know.
Okay, exactly. I just wanted to add something, Carlo. I think he also needs to be very careful, because what a lot of people look at is the returns and they ignore the risk. For example, Akvest Kettlewood, he sold NVIDIA stocks early last year. She didn't see the rally coming, And this is a very brilliant woman, She controls one of the biggest funds in the world. So, you see, knowledge, experts will tell you that it's much better to measure your risk tolerance with your skills and capital. So, for example, we spoke about dividend. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, they want dividend, but they've forgotten that yields and your size of capital matters. For example, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway had $880 million from Apple. But if you look at the dividend yield of Apple, it's almost negligible. Now, if you compare the dividend yield of GT Bank, for example, and Zenith, is 3 times more than JP Morgan. So the question is, for example, what are you looking for? Are you looking for how to hedge against the devaluation of the naira and inflation, or you want capital growth, or you're looking on how to send your kid to probably Princeton, Harvard, Yale? Your investment objective must align with, and that is why the space is all about enlightening you guys that, see, apart from the general financial knowledge, you also need to have these personal skills on how to select and also relate with your investment bank. Because the truth of the matter is, just like Carlos said, the guys even on Wall Street, they miss it. 2000 and last year was a good sign to tell you that almost everybody got it wrong. Almost everybody got it wrong. And these are guys that are quants that understand that step in the market. So the best way to capture trends are understanding the basic tools of picking value. And how do you pick value? Meeting your set and looking for mispriced assets. That's the best way. Because this year, for example, I can tell you for free that the way the stock market started, Nigerian stock market, we had 2.7 trillion naira gain in a week. That's about $2.7 billion. In the US stock market, the top 10 biggest company, 9 of them are American companies. One is Saudi Aramco. They lost 350 billion to investors. Elon Musk lost about 10 billion last week. So you have to factor all these things. That are you ready to capture the trend of the market volatility? Can you afford to lose $500 in the US stock market and you will not shake? Because these are things a lot of people consider when investing.
Okay, for me, I'm looking at the long term. It's like an idle fund, so it will not affect me today, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, so I think Carlo have mentioned ETFs, because if you look at the advantage of ETFs, you see, just plot a 100-year graph on the Nigerian stock market and US stock market. You see why a lot of people say US stock market is more reliable. Because over time, the US stock market has an upward pull. You might see it dipping at some point, but if you look at the graph on a 100-year, but you cannot see that with Nigeria for many reasons. We have liquidity risk. Many Nigerian companies are young. If you look at the best performing Nigerian stocks in the last 30 years, you only pick maybe 3 or 4. And that's pretty much because of the kind of economy we run. So you also need to factor all those risks. But you also need to look at what if things go wrong. We saw some stocks like PayPal, for example, hitting while other stocks were hitting record high. PayPal was 52-week low. We saw fintech companies that have PayPal valuations at the end of the day. Look at what WeWork did to investors. So it's not that all tech stocks are good. There are risks that comes with investment. We're not looking at the top ones. You need to be aware that a lot of people lost money last year in the US stock market. In fact, many hedge funds closed businesses because they bet against Tesla and some key stocks. So you have to factor all those risks.
Yeah, and honestly, Nvidia is not that bad. I mean, their price to earnings ratio is about 64 now, but forward is about 23, which means if you are buying that stock today at the price listed today, your dividends is about 0.03. So forget about dividends in that stock. Your price to earnings 64, which means it will take you 64 years to get back your purchase price. Also means that investors think this company is going to grow very, very fast, so they're prepared to pay more for one particular stock of Nvidia. Forward PE about 23, price to book 36. So it's an overpriced, not value, overpriced stock, and people are paying much because they think the stock will rise. So the really question for you is, do you agree with them? Look at the earnings per share. Why are people paying so much? Earnings per share this year 267%. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. So it's a good stock now. Return on investment 44%, return on assets 30%, return on equity 69%, gross margin 69%. Oh, wow. Profit margin 42%. I mean, I would. There's no question that's a great company. Like I said, they've risen very, very fast. The idea is that I don't know about this sector. You don't know about this sector. You only talk about Nvidia because you've seen the stock go up. Give it to the experts to do for you. So you can buy it directly, but that's concentrating your funds, or you can buy the ETF and you know that attracts tech stocks, and you're also in here. If you buy VTI, you've bought the stock. If you buy the ETF that trusts investment, you've also bought the stock. So try to maybe go concentrated. Let me see the Vanguard. I'll get the name for you. The Vanguard Tech ETF. It's V something. Olum, did you know it? Vanguard Tech. Let me get the exact ticker for you. That the Vanguard. Why I like Vanguard is cheaper. Not that it's the best. It's just cheaper. So V just.
ETFs. Yeah.
Yeah,
so the cost of doing business with them.
VGT, that's what I'm giving out. VGT, if you buy VGT, that's Vanguard Information Technology ETF, VGT. So if you just search for VGT on your Robinhood, whatever, pulls it up for you. And that would have Nvidia. So the cost is very, very low than if you bought through a broker. That's the whole. I can give you that cost if you give me a second. It's just pulling up for me. You are saying cost of doing business with them?
Yes.
That's the expense ratio. That's what you want to look for. You look for the expense ratio. The expense ratio for VGT is 0.10, 10%. Not 10%, 0.10. That's the expense ratio. You are buying it through VGT. 0.10. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so if you are buying that's the VGT. Look, just Google for it there. Go to Robinhood, plug it in there, it gives you more information. It's very risky, yeah, but you see the minimum investment is $1, expense ratio 0.1, yeah, so go for it.
Yeah, a lot of people have this problem that, you know, they earn in Naira. Most of the people on this call are Nigerians that reside in Nigeria. They don't have dollar exposure you have. So when you convert the rates to black market, many of them and you know, the brokers they use, you don't use the kind of brokers that have very attractive commission rates. So the question is, I think it's fair to say that ETFs are safer than trading with that kind of option for the average Nigerian, that it's much more expensive to trade single sports assets like stocks and US stocks from Nigeria than ETFs. Because ETFs have a cheaper rate. The
thing is, again, Olympia, I agree with you, but it's just that it's cheaper. So with $25, you can buy into an ETF. This VGT needs $1 to buy, $1, because you can buy the fraction of the stock. You can't buy the full thing. It's almost $400 or so to buy one, but you can buy a fraction. $25 in Nigeria, that's 25 times 1,200. Where's my calculator? 25 times 1,200. Who can do that real quick? That's how much you used to buy this stock. If you buy this particular VGT, again, I am not making a recommendation. We're just talking. If you buy VGT, you are buying 22% in Apple. So this stock, the VGT ETF, owns 22%, owns 20% Microsoft, and then owns 4% Nvidia. So with $25, you are buying into a stock that has these assets: Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Broadcom, Adobe, Salesforce, Accenture. That's what you're buying. So there's no other way I can think of a guy in Nigeria that wants to expose his portfolio to foreign stocks, that is diversification. There's no other way I know you can buy stocks without going to an ETF. You can't afford it to buy directly. So compare $25 to $400 if you try to buy it yourself. It's just too much. So yeah, it's when I grew up, these things weren't available. You couldn't buy a foreign stock from Nigeria. Now you can. So it's not cheap, but the market price is $462 for one. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm actually in the US. I want to know, is it something that I must do through Robinhood?
No. You can buy through, even most of the banks in America would allow you to buy fractional shares. Wells Fargo, if you log in and you have an account, you can trade stocks. JP Morgan, all the banks have stock trading. TD America, Schwab, there are many options. If you're in America, you have no problems. You can buy through any place. It's in Nigeria where because they don't have a social, they have to go through specific apps that are through Drive Wealth. But if in America, you can buy anywhere. It's the same thing. You're not going to get any cheaper or whatever. If you go directly, it's cheaper. On this system, it's 0. The expense rate is 0.1. But you can buy anywhere. If you have a stockbroking platform, just go in there and buy directly.
But am I going to be able to buy ETF through stockbroker?
Yeah. ETF simply means a mutual fund that you can trade during the day. There's nothing special about it. Your broker can buy an ETF for you. You can buy it yourself on your phone. It's nothing special about it. I've given you the ticker VGT. Just go to Robinhood or your broker VGT. If you want it, if you think it matches your objective and your risk profile, consider it. I'm not giving you a recommendation. It's just because you're talking about it. Yeah?
Thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Let's get on Undoka. Undoka C. Undoka, how you doing? Go ahead, sir. Undoka going once, Undoka going twice. Noel, Mr. Noel, how you doing, sir? Mr. Noel. Mr. Noel going once, Mr. Noel going twice. 1-4. Mr. 1-4 with the hands up. Only real Sam. Only _ real Sam. How you doing, sir? Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening.
How you doing, sir?
Yeah, thank you for this space. I just stumbled on it and I'm just very happy because I bought my first share in the year 2006 or 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember that year, but I was still a young boy that time. I just wanted to see what it looks like buying a share. So I bought it and I just made a decision this year to start also playing in the Nigerian stock market again because I saw there's a post I saw on Facebook where somebody posted the top 10 performing stocks in Nigeria last year. So, and that motivated me again to look into the Nigerian stock market again and see what I can make out of it. So now I just have a few questions, please. First of all, I know when I bought that my share in 26, 27, I had a CSCS number which I don't have it again. I've lost it, and even the share certificate and everything of that stock I bought, I can't really trace it. So I want to know how I can get back that CSCS number, if there is a way to trace that number again.
Yeah, of course. Just go to the company you bought. Go online, find their registrars, then go to the registrars. They'll get everything for you. Take 2 forms of ID. Go to the registrar of the company. They'll trace it for you.
Okay. Then this from the post, Mr. Ayodeji, he said that you can invest in Nigerian fixed income investment. So, considering inflation and the constant devaluation of the naira, is it advisable to invest in Nigerian fixed income investments?
Yeah, he's talking about the portfolio. He's telling you to build a portfolio with 40% because you get income, right? And that income he then hedge with American and equities and American fixed income, because that's what he's saying. You have to build a portfolio that will give you returns. There is no investment in Nigeria, quoted in Nigeria and regulated, that beats Nigerian inflation. So what you want to try to do is to reduce the gap between what you are earning and what you can earn vis-a-vis real inflation return. So it's not whether it's advisable, it's what are your options. You have no options, you have to still invest. So that's what he's saying.
Okay, finally, I just want like a market summary, to know the sector one can invest this year.
We can't answer that question. I think if you look at the listen to the what we've posted, this space is going to be recorded. We try to give you that as well. I think he's tried to focus on the budget. He said BUA Dangote. He said Presco for agriculture. Then he said banks. So I also tweeted it. Again, we're trying not to say we're recommending that you buy. You understand where we're coming from. You have to invest according to your objectives, according to your risk profile, and with the understanding that it's very, very risky to invest. So if you go back and listen to the tapes, I think he answered your question, but we're not going to tell you, go and put your money here or put your money there. Does that make sense to you, sir?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. You're very welcome, Wafo. Let me get Micah. We'll have a few. We're just going to run. We've got about 9 minutes to go. Micah, go ahead, sir. Mr. Micah? Micah going once. Awele, please go ahead. Hello, Awele, can you hear me? Please go ahead.
This is Ndoka speaking. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello.
Ndoka, please go ahead.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for this wonderful session. So I just want to clarify, investing in dollar mutual fund and investing in foreign stock, which one is more profitable?
Okay. So the mutual fund just takes a collection of stocks. The stocks is just one. So you are asking what is more profitable between buying 10 stocks at once or buying one stock at once. That's your question. There's no way to answer that question. Why do you buy one stock? Why do you buy a collection of stocks? You buy a collection of stocks because you want to spread your risks across, so that if one is down, the whole 10 cannot be down. So there's no way to answer which is more profitable. You are investing according to your objectives, and you are saying, if I buy 10, I'm spreading my risk. Have I answered the question, sir?
Yeah, you did. So is there a minimum amount for dollar mutual fund?
It's per mutual fund. You've got to do your research. So go online. The one you want to buy, they'll give you your mutual, the minimum right there. It's not one answer for everything, right? It's going to be, if you want to buy this particular one or on this particular platform, then you see the minimum that's going to be there. Most times it's $25. Most times, yeah, in naira or in dollars, around there, yeah. All right, sir. Thanks so much. You're welcome. Mr. Dorothy, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Kalu. I want to ask a question about the farming, the papaya, and the dates. Is it possible that the speaker, if he has to share, if he has maybe a tutorial platform or anyhow to reach out to him for investment?
If you send me a DM, I'll send him a DM. He's left here. He's no longer here, but I'm going to bring him back. He has been on my space before. I didn't want him to start, because when he starts, he has a lot of information. He's packed. So I'm going to bring him back especially to talk about investing in that agri space with specifics. So if you listen, you can grab from him. If you send me a DM, I'll send it to him. Then you can ask him those questions. But he's a very packed guy, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And number two, please, I don't know if this is the right place to ask this question. I'm on the verge of, what are the documents needed? Like say, buying some acres of land. What are the right documents needed in Nigeria? Because
I don't know, man.
Dicey.
I don't know, man.
Some ballot will say they are giving.
No, Dorothy. I don't know that question. I think it's space specific. Like if you go to Lagos, you might have done. I don't know the exact answer to that, but it's going to be based on who is selling. Based on who is selling, yeah. I don't know, but I'll try to bring someone on the space. Good question for a space guy. I'm going to bring over next time. Yeah. Awele, please go ahead. Dorothy, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Awele, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Yeah, go ahead. Real quick, man. We're rounding up.
All right. Okay, the topic is a nice one. Where should I invest 1 million in Nigeria? So I'll just talk about my own experience.
No. Do you have a question?
Okay, the question, I just want to answer a question. Like someone asked about land. As in the right.
No, do you have a question for me? If not, we will move on. We have about 5 minutes to go, so we're just running up, Awele.
Okay, the question I'm asking is about the dollar. What is it? And it can somebody that is just a new being, start it.
I think so. I think you can invest. You can invest abroad. There are many apps in Nigeria that allow you to do that investment. That's what we're talking about all day. Like I think Bamboo, I believe Cowrywise, they allow you to invest, or they give you exposure to the foreign market. So yes, you can convert naira to dollars and invest according to your objectives, according to your risk profile. Okay, let me take the last person here, Micah. Then I'm going to round up, right? Micah, please go ahead. Then you're the last person to speak. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Carlo. Good evening. I appreciate the space. Learned a lot. So my question is, what's the essence of investing in the Nigerian stock market when you know that when you buy a share like Transcorp and then it's at an all-time high and then you're having liquidity issues in terms of selling your shares? So what's the essence?
Who says the liquidity issues? You tried to say you couldn't sell?
No, I think it was a tweet from yours or somebody, but I saw a tweet that was like saying that the top 10 performing stocks, so most times it's difficult to sell them because of liquidity issues.
But not Transcorp. We are not mentioning Transcorp.
No, not necessarily Transcorp. I just okay. Use that for instance.
So not Transcorp. So what's the second question?
And then my second question is for a young Nigerian, in his early 20s, like with like a capital of like 1 million naira, in terms of a fund of like 1 million naira, would you advise them to invest in ETFs or pick individual stocks, that kind of thing?
You want to do that? You don't have money to pick individual stocks. You don't have the money. One share of Tesla is nearly $500 or say $400. So how many would you buy with your 1 million? Convert 1 million to dollars is about maybe $900. So you can't buy individual stocks. So ETFs allow you to have diversification with your 1 million. That's the point. So you are looking to diversify to protect yourself from risk and then to leave it alone to just grow and expand. That's what I'm talking about ETFs. There's no better or best in investment. There's just something that serves your purpose. If you are younger in Nigeria with a weaker currency, you want to do diversification, both Nigerian and foreign, and ETFs give you a cheap way to diversify. Right? All right, guys, let me just round up. Thank you so much. Right? We brought Mr. Ayo here to talk about where to invest 1 million. I knew that the questions are going to be fantastic, and you guys would gain from just the interaction and to listen to the questions. So I thank you all guys for doing that. Let me plug this. Let me just do this. I wrote a book, right? In that book, I have all these questions. What are ETFs? How to invest abroad? How to save? How to invest? Asset management. It's all in there. Sometimes I plug the book because I know it is good. The first thing you want to do before you invest a kobo is to read about investing. You don't invest blindly. You don't go in and say, I want to buy US stock because you heard one guy on a space talking about it. You want to understand why you are investing abroad. What are stocks? What is FICO? What is dollar cost average? You've got to understand before you invest a kobo, right? And the way you understand is to go online and you read, right? There are YouTube channels that give you free advice on investing. There are Twitter handles that give you free advice on investing. Follow them, learn. That's the first investment. You are investing your time to get knowledge. Read books about investing. Study Warren Buffett, right? Study Tony Lumelu. Study what those guys are doing and what they are investing, and then learn from them. That's the easiest way you can learn. Buy my book, read it. Invest in your knowledge. It would help you in your investing journey. That's literally what you want to do. Alright guys, so keep following. We're going to try to bring in January investment topics that will guide you and to make you a better investor. Olumide, again, unmute and say thank you for just being here. I appreciate you again all the time. You had a wonderful space last week where you talked about investing. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to also give a shout out to Invest N1m and Carver, what they did for that lady that was throwing around receiving gifts. It was very commendable. That's one way of promoting personal finance education and investing. A lot of people don't even know many of these investment apps, so I was very, very impressed by what they did. So I just wanted to give a shout out. Thank you.
Excellent. On that note, guys, we're going to call it today. Thank you so much. You guys enjoy your week and have a blessed week ahead. Thank you and bye.